Morning, everybody. And I just realized I did upload a new beginning this morning. That was not the right one. So I'm going to have to go look and see what I did because I added my new members who joined last week. So happy Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. And this is my first tea of the morning. So I'm going to take a drink. I've been so busy this morning. I didn't even have a chance for tea. So how's everybody doing? Go in and say hello. I know Mary Lynn is here. She was first. Tracy, hello. Thanks for coming. Hello, Melissa. I appreciate you taking time out for work to say hi. People talking about it's very sunny here, and I think it's currently above freezing. Let me go see. I think it is. Oh no, it's 37 Fahrenheit. Feels like 30, so that's below freezing. So, but it's sunny. So, and hello, Ecocentric. Thank you for dropping by. Oh, I have a guest. Hold on, Zach. Hello.
Oh my goodness. I was thinking it was supposed to be 10 o'clock my time.
I know. I should have told you. I forget you're an hour behind.
And then I'm like, oh, I have an hour to get ready and put my makeup on. And then I'll go live with Lynn. So this is how you get me right now.
I just saying this is my first tea of the morning with my collagen in it because I've been so busy.
Oh, I want my collagen. I'll go get my collagen.
Yep. So I do. I put my collagen in my tea, my first cup of tea every morning.
Mine is like a drink it. Some people have powder. Mine's a liquid.
Okay. Yeah. This one's a powder. Hello, Thor. Thank you for coming. Hello, Rebecca. Thank you for coming. Just a last minute. I have a million things I should be doing. But the sun is shining, and quite frankly, the lighting is so much better during the day for lives. Hold on just a second. Grace, will you text your father that I am live, and I'll call him back? I meant to message him and let him know I was going live. If he needed anything, call me later. Hello, Marcy. Thanks for coming. And hello, Tracy. Yeah, Tracy, my live from last Saturday, I just went and checked. It has, let me just double check because I've already forgotten. It has 273 views.
Nice.
So that is one of my last big one I had was way back in 3 months ago for the pantry challenge, talking about getting ready for the pantry challenge. So that was a while ago. So thanks for coming on, Trace. Oh my goodness, that's my mom. I think that's the first time she's ever been on one of my lives. Thank you for telling everybody my nickname, Mother. I appreciate it.
Moms are great.
Yeah. So I've got Bailey's in my coffee. Just collagen and some honey in mine.
I just have heavy whipping cream and cocoa powder in mine. And my collagen is fruity, like really fruity. I don't say the flavor, I don't think.
Who's this? Oh, he texted me back, Gracie. You texted him, and David texted me back. Okay. But that's right. My nephew is back in Florida. So he's helping my mother figure out how to go on. Thank you, Ty. Auntie appreciates it. But I had a free sample of the chocolate collagen, same brand of what I use.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, I've been thinking about buying the chocolate, and I thought, for smoothies, I said, well, this is a good way to get a sample without paying outrageous price and not liking it.
Right.
I'm so glad I got the sample. It's disgusting. It has stevia in it.
Oh, I don't love stevia. It's too sweet.
I don't like it. It's sweet, and believe it or not, it's so weird. Stevia. So some people have their DNA. Stevia will taste like black licorice.
Oh, kind of like cilantro does to people.
Yes, and like I can eat cilantro, but some people have the DNA where cilantro tastes soapy.
Mm-hmm.
But I thank God because I love cilantro. But myself, my husband, and my son both can taste the black licorice when we have stevia. Grace can taste it too, but she likes black licorice because she's weird.
I like black licorice. I don't know if I would want it to be what should be like sweet, like sugar, you know.
And it stinks because you can grow stevia, like in your herb garden. But I wish I liked it. I wish I liked it. But I do like monk fruit, which has 0 calories.
Is monk fruit.
But that is expensive here.
That so expensive. I got this little tiny pouch of it the other day, and it was like $7.
It is so expensive.
Like 3 days.
Yep. If I can buy it at my bulk barn, I can get it at my bulk barn, which makes it it's a bookstore, which is a little bit cheaper,
right?
But it's still expensive. Like if I want to bake with it and all that, like I mean,
yeah, because you need a lot of it, especially like I always double all of our recipes because there's just so many of us, so I have to use so much of it, so much.
Hello, Dave. I'm jealous. I wish I had a greenhouse. Well, I do have a greenhouse, and our snow, I want to say it very low because I'm scared, but our snow is like, I can see more grass than I can see snow right now.
We can see grass. Even when it snowed the other day, when you started getting snow, and I was like, Lynn's getting snow and it's sunny and nice here. And then it started snowing. It never covered our ground. Like it never stayed. So it's right back to being spring here.
Yeah, no, I want to get out, and I'm going to set up my greenhouse because I'm hoping in May to harden off my seedlings in my greenhouse.
I made a couple cold frames last weekend when it was super nice.
Mm-hmm.
I had like the worst headache ever, and so I didn't end up putting anything out there. I should put some stuff out there because it's nice out right now. Today is supposed to be nice.
Yeah, so I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to try it, and I might even I'm going to even try and grow some things in it. So we're going to set it up back here, and I'm going to put like some kind of tarp over it too.
Right.
So, so they don't get too hot too quick or too much sun, but I'm going to try it because bringing them in and out last year was exhausting.
Yes, it is. I watch Cog Hill all the time, and I guess I don't know where they're at, but it's very fluctuating like it is where we're at, where it's like super nice one day and then it's freezing cold the next. And so Jason has been bringing their stuff like into their dining room and setting it on the dining room table. And they even like have a greenhouse set up, but it's like so far away from where his seedlings were so they've been bringing them in and out onto their dining room table. Like we have to do this.
I mean, I had Grace, thank goodness, to help me last year. And then sometimes I had Aiden too. And then on the weekends I had David because it took us a few days to bring him in and out because the weather just kept going like this. And it took us forever. Now I don't have as many this year as I did last year. So that's going to help because I'm going to start some more things. And that's why I'm hoping to have the greenhouse to help start some more things and then get them into the ground and extend my growing period too. Cause I'm not going to close up my garden as early as I did last year. I kind of did it a little too
forced to. It like was winter time. I remember my loofahs were like just starting to get as big as they should have been, and they were not ready to be coming down. I had so many tomatoes, but my tomatoes, remember we like had to grow all late, like something happened and it was like real late I got them in. So then it was real late when I had to get them out. So I had a whole room full of loofahs and tomatoes because it was like snowing and freezing outside. So I had to get them or it would have ruined it.
Here, so our Thanksgiving was still warm. And I think we did have a small frost at the beginning of October. I'll have to go back and look at my notes, but it wasn't so hard that things that could withstand it, especially would have been okay. So I'm actually planning, part of my garden plan this year is to plan things. I'm going to plant them later in the summer. To have them and then start harvesting them like into September, early October.
So I always have troubles with like Brussels sprouts, cabbage, cauliflower, broccoli. And I think because they're cool weather crops, I think if I plant them early spring, they'll be ready. And that's not true. So then the heat gets them, the bugs get them. So I only have 2 of each one of those to try. To see if any of them will do any good, but they have to go in my fall garden because I literally hate going out and picking off the cabbage worms every morning. Like it takes hours sometimes.
And then they bolt. Like my broccoli.
I don't get anything out of it,
One day it's great and it's like, oh, you're growing. And then 3 days later, well, that's too late.
Right.
So I'm broccoli, cauliflower for sure, and carrots. I'm all planning for a later harvest. So that way I'll have a bunch of my raised garden beds empty by then.
Yeah.
And I can start, and I'm going to start, I think I have my notes somewhere. I think July-ish is where I'm going to start. And I don't know if I'm going to start them in the house or just put them right into the ground. I haven't made that decision.
Put mine in the ground and see what happens. Cause I'm land race gardening this year. I'm going to traditional garden too, because I know that I can produce food that way, but I'm also land race gardening to kind of like the toughest of the, what is it? The fittest of the whatever. Like the things are the ones I'm going to keep.
The fittest survive. Yeah. Cause and it's weird because you see people selling broccoli and cauliflower at the farmers markets here in July. And I'm like, how are you all doing this?
They have to have greenhouses. Like they just have to. I cannot wait till I have one that's so big and I can just walk into it, have all the things, and I don't have to worry about the weather.
The people down the road from us, they built this gigantic house. I mean, they actually tore down 2 houses. They bought 2 houses, tore them down. They bought 3 houses. So they bought 2 perfectly fine houses. One broke my heart because they'd just done a roof. They'd done all the windows and doors. They'd put all new flooring in because we look at the ads, right? Whenever a house goes up for sale around us. And it was a beautiful home and they put so much work into it. And they were asking then around $600,000. So these people bought this house and tore it down. I did see them give away. They did give away all the windows and stuff because I saw the company come and get them.
Right.
So at least that, but I was like, so they tore that one down, another one down, and then a house had just sold about 5 years ago. It literally sold 3 days later. It caught fire and burned. So that's been sitting there like a shell. So they bought that too, and they've torn that all down. And I think they're just trying to expand because they've got like a lot of toys, right? A side-by-side, 4-wheelers. Right. So I think they just want to encompass it so they can go around. But anyway, they built a greenhouse, and it is, I have to send you a picture of it, Tanya. And she's got heat in there, lights in there. She was growing things. And
I want like gravel on the floor.
So I was like, I go by and I'm like, if I win the lottery, that is what I seriously want. And I could garden like in January. I could be out there.
You can garden all the time.
All the time.
In Deep South Homestead, they garden like all year round. They have stuff in there. I mean, I think they're in Florida or somewhere like that. But we could keep it warm in our greenhouse and still have the sun and stuff in the wintertime. Grow all the things.
Yeah, I know. It would be. So I envy her. I think she actually had poinsettias growing in there at Christmas time. I'm pretty sure that's what I saw in there. But I also saw tomatoes and bell peppers. And I'm like, if that's all I could grow in my greenhouse in the winter, I'd be happy.
Right. I really miss fresh vegetables. Like Jake and I got a tomato the other day where we had cheeseburgers or something like that. Yeah, cheeseburgers. And we sliced up the tomato to have with our cheeseburgers, and it quite literally tastes like nothing.
Nothing. It almost tastes like just water to me, or not even. Yeah.
I mean, it looked pretty. It looked nice, but it just there was just no flavor. So then that makes me feel like, is there any nutrients in this? You know, like, am I this tomato just for fun at this point?
I will say I got some, they're called Tiny Toms. They're little tiny cherry tomatoes, very small, and they're Canadian. And they are greenhouse, but I mean, I feel better. I'd rather buy them that way than non-organic from another country kind of way. They actually were full of flavor. They actually tasted really, really good. I was surprised, but I mean, obviously too, they were Ontario too, greenhouse, so they don't have to travel far wherever they're coming from. But to get like an actual whole tomato right now, I won't even waste my money.
No, it's just if this tomato was super expensive. It's like $2 for this one tomato.
Yep.
It wasn't worth it.
Hello, Templin Acres. Thanks for coming by. Yeah, for me, planning a wood stove for our greenhouse to extend it. That's a great idea.
We want a wood stove. The kids' dad has a wood stove down on his property, and at some point he's not going to be there. He works over the road or whatever.
Right.
So Jake and I keep telling him, like, you could bring that wood stove up here. We'll take it for you.
That I actually say this myself. I say to David, I say, well, if anyone wants to know what disappointment tastes like, eat a January or February tomato. I actually say that. I didn't know she
I
did.
was so disappointed. Like the disappointment as I was sitting at the table, like, what is this? Why is it not taste?
That's why one of the things I want to dehydrate more like tomato slices this year. So that way in January on our tomato, I'll just, rehydrate them a little bit. And I'd rather have that than waste my money on a horrible tasting tomato.
We dehydrated our tomatoes last year, lots of them. And then we froze some as well. That froze literally forever. But anyways, we dehydrated some and then I just powdered them for like soups and sauces and stuff like that. And it was awesome. And they kept awesome. I just kept them in a jar, an airtight lid.
Yep. I only did a few because I did some cherry tomatoes because I wanted to see how they did. They didn't do great. They took forever. Even though I made the X in them and everything, they still took forever.
Right.
But eventually I do have them, and I powdered them too to kind of like thicken up some spaghetti sauce.
Yeah.
And then I also did bell peppers too as an experiment to see. I'm going to do them more because they are great. So what I did was I only had a little bit of bell pepper, a little bit of tomatoes, and a little bit of something else, and I put them all in a jar together for a soup. So that's like a soup right there. So
we did peppers, hot peppers, and I only cut them in half, and they weren't very big, probably like a half an inch each is how I stored them after I dehydrated them. And I just throw a couple of them in Jake and I's soups, and it spices it up real nice. It's really good flavor. It was nice to have.
I'm just, my mom is saying grow lots of onions, tomatoes, and cucumbers because prices are terrible. Well, it's not the season for them either. I will say,
grow onions to save my life. I'm
trying them again, and they're so far. My starts are doing great.
They do.
I had 5 last year that made it, and that's the most I've ever had. So I consider that a success.
I know. I always see people like Shay Elliott and like the big homesteaders, on YouTube. They just have like huge bundles of onions, and I can't.
Pounds. Yeah, I mean, you have to grow. You have to plant 50 pounds worth of onions too, which I didn't
do. And they're like, this is how you braid your garlic to store it. Like, I don't even have 3 to make a braid, like I can't do that. I don't even
I don't grow soft neck garlic, so I couldn't braid mine. I grow the hard necks and they're just too hard. But my garlic harvest last year was amazing.
I have lots of garlic coming up right now. I was going to take a video of it the other day. But I made those cold frames, right? And I used these old windows that were in our barn when we moved here. And I'm pretty sure there's lead paint on them. So I was sealing the windows. That's what took forever because I don't want that lead paint to like fall into the soil.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I got busy and didn't film any of it.
No, I mean, I'm going to try again because I will say the 5 onions I did grow were amazing. I grew. I call them purple onions because they're purple. I know they're called red, but they do not look red to me. They look purple. Red to me is a red tomato. That's a red color. These are purple. Anyway, I grew and they tasted. I mean, that's that's my favorite onion. I'm the only one in the house that kind of like onions.
I like the
David doesn't mind them if I cook them, and he doesn't mind the purple ones if I dice them up small enough.
Right.
And put them in. But he's not a huge, and the kids don't like them at all.
I like the flavor of onions. I hate the texture of them. It doesn't matter how I do them. So I've started taking the cheese grater. I know this is going to sound ridiculous because it kind of just like mushes them up. We don't have any like actual onion pieces in any of our stuff. I'll just take the cheese grater on the thin cheese side and grate whatever onion I need. So that way nobody can tell that there's onions in it other than the flavor.
Actually, I'm going to do that. I'm going to grate mine to dehydrate them. So they're already easier to dehydrate and then to smear them out like my garlic.
Yep.
Because I just bought some dehydrated onion yesterday for my copycat video. There's another hint for my copycat video that I'm recording right now because I didn't have any left. And I'm like, oh yeah, I got to definitely dehydrate more onions.
I got freeze-dried ginger the other day at the store and used it in one of our soups last weekend. And it was awesome. Like super awesome.
Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, Tanya got a freeze dryer.
Now I want to freeze dry ginger because it just like powders up when you squeeze it, just like poof, and it's just awesome. Now I want to.
Cool.
I didn't even know it was a thing until I saw it on the shelf. Put my shoes.
I know we're supposed to, I'm going to say our weather guy on the news the other night said in the 10-day forecast, he actually sees double digits, which is double digits Celsius. So that's really good.
Oh, yeah.
Double digit Celsius. And I'm like, whoo, because I got poor Aiden yesterday. It was pretty chilly track practice yesterday.
Oh, I bet. The boys had golf here yesterday, and the girls like don't golf like the boys do. If it's chilly, the girls are like, no practice today. And the boys are out there doing full rounds of golf.
Grow Alyssa at Craig onions, sweet, mild, and you'll be impressed even if you have a bad harvest. I'll have to look into that.
Okay. Here's
and I will say
garlic. Or
okay, yeah. No, I bought the same company. I bought freeze dried onions, purple onions.
So cool! They're so light and fluffy. You just can like crumble them, and it smells garlicky. Ginger. You could like tea.
That would be good for powdered them up and use them in like gingerbread and ginger cookies.
Yes,
I bet they would taste better than like.
I love the smell of ginger.
I do too. Ginger, it just smells so good.
Yeah.
But no, that's the same company I get the onions from, the big bottle.
Oh, nice.
And I loved them. They were great. I went through all of them, so I had to go buy some more, and I couldn't find them, so I had to get a little bag of them.
Yeah.
But so Easter is next weekend, and
I did not
know. And Aiden's birthday is actually the day after Easter, what we call Easter Monday here. We actually have an extra holiday.
Right.
It's just because it's made up because Easter's on a Sunday and people wanted another day off, I guess. I don't know. But his birthday, he was actually born on Easter Monday too. That year. But anyway, so I'm like, oh my gosh, there's no way I'm going to make like Easter desserts and a cake. Like that's just too much.
Right.
So we were talking last night. So our tradition, I make everyone's cake and everyone gets to pick what they want to have for supper, whether it's homemade or go out to eat or whatever. So I am fully expecting him to say he wants McDonald's, right? So I said, Aiden, what do you want for your birthday dinner this year? So he sits there at the table and he's thinking. He goes, Mom, he said, I'd really like one of your pork roast dinners. And I looked at him. I said, did I just have a stroke? I said, did you say you want because he does like pork. Aiden does. Gracie doesn't, but Aiden does. Right. And I said, yeah, I can totally do that. And I looked at everybody. I said, wait a minute. Aiden's birthday's Monday. I'm going to do a ham and a small chicken because the kids don't really care for ham. I don't know what's wrong with them. Oh, okay. There you go. So David loves it. He loves it. And I'm just going to, instead of doing a turkey, I'm just going to do a small chicken for the kids.
Yeah.
They don't care. I said, I'm not doing that Sunday and then turning around and making a pork dinner on Monday, pork roast and everything. So we're having our Easter dinner this weekend, this Sunday.
Good.
Now I'm like, oh my gosh, it's Wednesday. I really got to get on the ball and get
I have to prepare. I need to go to the store. I need to.
So, because I want to make cream puffs for Easter. I made them a couple of years ago and I haven't made them since, and everyone loves them. And I like them because they're not real sweet. So they're like, and I'm like, okay, so now I really got to get my butt in gear and make some, and I'm going to make some dinner rolls and stuff. And hold on just a second. Something's in my chicken coop.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's
the live show.
Nope. It's I think it might be a vole, which is stupid on them because they've already killed 3 of them this winter. So go for it, girls.
I had to repair our barn doors yesterday. Jake worked for 15 hours yesterday.
Wow.
Right. So I went and did the farm animals like mid-afternoon and refreshed their water and stuff. And I kept telling him we have these doors in the like back of our barn. It's like you could drive a hay trailer right through our barn because there's doors on each side, right?
Okay. Yep.
I kept telling him when we put the pigs in there, like, these pigs are going to get these doors open. He's like, no, they won't. No, they won't. Sure enough, I go out there. There's like a 9-inch gap between the doors and the barn because they have their bedding like squished into this crack, you know? So I'm telling Jay, I'm like, Jay, I really need you to come help me. We got to get this stuff out of here. We have to reinforce these doors. So that's what we did yesterday afternoon. And then the cops showed up here. So that was crazy. Like,
what showed up?
The cops.
For what?
To serve papers for my dad's conservatorship because he switched or something. So it was a crazy afternoon, but we got it done. So now the pigs can't escape.
Oh, that's good.
Right?
Yeah, no, I know David worked hard putting our top on our chicken coop after that stinking hot got one of our poor girls. I felt so bad.
Yeah, anything could have gotten through this gap, like a fox or a coon or, anything.
Yeah.
There. Our pigs are pretty, though. Like, I could see Charlotte.
I was going to say, I think Charlotte would probably put the wrench in raccoon or fox.
Like, people would think twice about coming through there because she would eat them.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, so no, I was just, and he wants a chocolate cake with chocolate frosting this year. And I'm like, that's a lot of chocolate, bud.
That's what Ashton always does too. Chocolate cake with chocolate frosting.
So I'm like, okay, I got to try and balance this out so it's not going to kill everybody. I'm almost thinking about making just like a 1-layer cake this year instead of a 2 layers. So that way it's not so much. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do just one square cake with some frosting. Yeah. Again, we've just had a couple. I'm not going to make a whole bunch of stuff for Easter because it's just the two. Oh, I might have things and have David take them into work kind of thing.
We never
speaking of work, I just have to say David got his full-time contract yesterday. David didn't even know how stressed
him having his contract. And yesterday I was so mad at Jake for working so long. Only because he did not tell me he was going to be working that long.
I didn't even let David know because he got an email in January saying, hey, there's lots of, money in the budget. Anyone who wants full-time contract, it's there. So David immediately said, yes, I'll take another full-time because he has to do a couple of months part-time or he loses his pension that he worked 30 years for, which is a bunch of BS, but that's a whole nother subject. So he's been on part-time since February. So February and March. So this is his last week. And he kept asking them, okay, when do I sign my papers? When do I sign, you want me to start April 1st? Well, this was like second week of March. And I'm like, April's not that far away.
Right. So I'm worried a little bit, I think.
I was getting very nervous because I'm like, we'll be okay.
Right.
But I don't want to be just okay. I want to, not have any worries. And we've got this big garden build that he's gone off the rails with.
But like during those slower months, you get used to being okay. Like I was used to being okay. And now we're full blown. Jake is just gone from before up until after the sun comes down. And it's really frustrating to me. Like it's hard for me to get used to because then I don't have Jake to help me run the kids all around. And Memphis in 2 baseball teams this year. And just a lot.
Well, I've been there a lot when Aiden had soccer and Gracie had dance the same night, the same day as and David was overseas. That was real fun. I
have Ashton and Callie. Ashton drives himself. He shouldn't yet. Driver's ed starts this week for him, but he drives himself. Oh my goodness, when the cop was here yesterday to drop.
Is that what you thought it was for?
No, but listen, he's leaving the driveway and here comes Ashton illegally driving home from golf. And he's like, I about pooped my pants, Mom. Like I thought he's got a huge crack in his windshield. And of course the cop just waves at him as he's leaving. Yeah. He's dropping papers off. So that kind of
Patrick.
It was so funny.
Yeah. Mary Lynn, you're probably already gone because I know she has a meeting at 10:30, she said. So thanks for dropping by. But yeah, no, Aiden starts. So we decided not to do driver's ed because the waiting list was quite long. And what you have to do here is you have to go for something called your G1 and you have that for a whole year. And then you go and take your G2 and that allows you to drive without anybody else. So the whole year he has to have somebody with him. Oh. And driver's ed, if you take driver's ed, it knocks 3 months off of that. So you get 9 months. But the waiting list is so long for this driver's ed, by the time he could do it, 9 months will be like next August. Whereas if he takes his test next month, he'll be able to go for his G2 next April. So he'd actually get it a little bit sooner than if he waits for driver's ed.
Right.
And we called our insurance. The cost of driver's ed is like quite exorbitant. Like it's
$400 here.
Oh, wow. It's triple here.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So I called our insurance company and he's not going to save enough to make it worth our while to spend $1,400 on driver's ed. I'm not kidding. They
Oh
said
my goodness.
he might save about $300 that first year. And I'm like, he's
Can they
paying
get
for
like,
the machine.
grandfathered in? Like once you turn 18, you can just get your license. Is that a thing there?
No, it doesn't matter. I was in my
That's a
30s.
thing here.
I was in my 30s and I had to wait a whole year.
Wow.
So to me, it should be age appropriate, not necessarily, but
Right.
because I
Like
didn't have it.
Ashton is 14 and he's only a permitted driver, so he can only drive with one of us with him. And Callie is a permitted driver and has her school permit and everything, but she's just so not great at it and she's not comfortable driving and she's very scared. Ashton is not scared and he's a good driver, so that's why he drives.
Grace probably will never get hers because she's
right. Callie could go her whole life not driving. She just does not want to do it.
The thing with Aiden is, he's had lots of practice between all the four-wheelers he's driven. And I think that's what helps him be a little bit more. He's still nervous, but I'm not as nervous for him as I would be as her.
Same. Like, and Ashton's younger and can't even legally drive right now. And I'm just like, yep, Ashton can drive, like, because Callie just isn't, she just doesn't like it. She's not comfortable.
I'm going to be honest. I'm not crazy about driving.
I
find it very stressful. Because it's just so scary.
I've been riding with my kids to the city. Even I've ridden with Ashton in Des Moines. I've ridden with Raylan now and Jay. And that's better to me than me driving because I don't like it.
You deserve a medal. She's already trained 3 and she's got 3 more.
I have Jay and Raylan, Ashton, Callie all done. Now it's just Ricky Memphis.
Morning, Deb. Thanks for coming by. I know David said he wishes he had those training vehicles where the passenger also has the brake.
Yeah. That's great.
David's he was actually a driver's instructor for military vehicles for people on base too. So he would
adults though.
Some of the horror stories he would come home with. He's like, Lynn, I don't know how these people are driving in civvies on Civvy Road because he goes, the person today backed up, stowed in the whole back of the vehicle. Drove right into a so I said, hon, if you can handle those people, I think Aiden's going to be a little bit easier. Right. But I told him I can't wait because I told him, dude, once you have that G1, you are driving everywhere. Hey, we got to go to the store. Aiden, you're going whether you want to or not because you're driving.
My dad used to be so excited for my brother and I to get our license. He would send us no matter what, but we didn't have a store in our town. So we had to have a license in order to go to the store.
Right.
So he could not wait for us to have our license so we could go pick up whatever we needed from the store and he didn't have to. And I totally get it. Because now I can just call my oldest son and be like, hey, will you pick up dog food on your way home or whatever? And I don't have to do it.
I can't wait because when it will be a while, but like when he's at school, I can say, hey, bud, on your way home, swing through the grocery store because that's where we go. That one where he goes to school in Brighton. Yeah. And pick that da-da-da on your way home. Like, I can't
It's so
wait.
Nice. Great.
Our youngest got her beginners in December and is just starting practice driving. Her big brother is taking her for us. Lucky you.
Yeah.
Nice. Great. Aiden's older sibling can't drive. So it's going to be on us.
So we can't send her to do the things.
I mean, his main thing is he can't wait to stop taking the bus. So that's his motivation because we've had I will say the new bus route has been that's another one of my stressors that's gone. There's a new bus he's on is it's 100% better. And there wasn't as many kids on it. Now 7 kids from his old bus route have switched over to this one. That's how bad that other bus is. And nobody is saying what's going on here. Why are all these people asking for a transfer?
Have you ever talked to him on the phone when he's on the bus, like the old bus? It's like they're at a rave party.
Oh, yeah. I could hear him. He sent me pictures. Of what the kids were doing. And I'm like, what is the driver doing? And he says, Mom, he either laughs at them or he jokes with them. And I said to him, well, hey, the 7 kids that have switched bus, I said, it's none of the issue kids, was it? He goes, no. And I said, good.
Because our bus drivers try to do anything, they literally get fired because a parent gets mad.
Oh, that is what's our problem. But part of the problem here is because I have a friend who is a bus driver, and she said the companies will call and say, look, you got to let the kid back on the bus. We can't take these parents calling and harassing us anymore. And so there's nothing the drivers can do. They do have cameras now on the buses.
Yeah, we have cameras. One time, the bus driver here told Memphis that he was going to come clean the bus on a Saturday because he threw cereal. Him and a couple of friends were throwing cereal. And Memphis was so mad. I said, you are going to clean up that cereal.
Yeah.
And he's, but I'm not the only one that threw it. And so threw it first. I'm like, I don't care. I will take you to this bus personally and you're going to clean this bus up. Like, I would smack all these kids around because it is insane. I would not have that job. I just wouldn't.
And frankly, I couldn't do it. And they're desperate for drivers here. We actually have routes. Here. We have routes that have had no bus service since September because they still haven't been able to find. And I don't know what the parents are doing because some of these buses are elementary school kids, and so a lot of people work. So how do you get your kids to school and pick them up too? Without, like it's crazy.
Here, if you live in city limits and you are over, what is it, 3rd grade, Ricky? If you're over 3rd grade, you cannot ride the bus. You have to walk.
Oh my goodness.
So like Jay, my oldest son, his girlfriend and her siblings literally live right on the outskirts of just being out of town, but they're still in city limits. So it would be miles for them to walk to school. Miles.
I mean, they already have to get up so early anyway.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy, but so that's one of the main reasons he wants to get a job. Like he's hoping to find a job this summer, his first job. So, he needs a car for that. He wants to start saving for his own car. Yeah. I told him, I said, Aiden, if you go to work now, by the time you get your G2, you should have enough money saved to get yourself a decent, safe, used vehicle.
Yeah.
So I said, because you got to have money for gas and money for insurance.
We pay the insurance only because there's so many kids driving the same vehicles that we just pay the insurance. And they just like Ashton and Callie just bought new tires for the Durango last weekend. We found them a set for $120 or something. Right. And so they have to keep up with it, like the maintenance and stuff, but we pay the insurance.
Well, his insurance alone would be triple. It's probably going to be about $300 a month just for him. So that's why he's at the very least.
What is that in my money? What's 300 your money and my money, do you think?
See, the dollar is worth what, about $1.10. So let me see. Let me do some quick math. Making me think this early. Here. Alexa, what is 300 Canadian in US dollars?
300 Canadian dollars, about 221
221.
Okay, that's not bad. That's about what we pay. We pay like $240 for all the vehicles and all the kids.
But we're already paying. What do I pay right now for? We pay about $225 a month just for David and I. So you add Aiden, we're looking at over $500 a month.
And if our kids get good grades, it lowers our.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. If they keep
Aiden's just so offended because they said he heard the lady say, if it was a teenage girl, it wouldn't be as high. Aiden was so mad, and he has a right to be mad. Right. He does.
But that's just how it is.
But I think it's a very old way of thinking. I think
I
agree. In 2023, I honestly, some of the girls I've seen pulling out of the school parking lot in their cars.
That's true. Because
I wouldn't want to be driving with them.
Raylan to Callie, Raylan does need that extra insurance. Callie does not.
Yeah. So, but I mean, at the very least, half. Like I told David, I said, if he pays half his insurance, because he's going to have gas money and stuff. Yeah. I said that, because like David said, he's not going to get it free. And, and I mean, 300, we're hoping. This was when we called a while ago. The price of everything has gone up. So gosh only knows what it will be and we don't have to get it until he gets his G2. So we have this whole year before we have to worry about it. Good. So yeah. I don't know why, but yesterday I was talking to my cousin Michelle and we were talking about ages of people having children and things. And a friend of hers was pregnant at like 48. And I says, oh my Lord. I said, that's how old I am. And I don't know what I would do.
I'd die. I would literally die.
So we were talking and I got to thinking, I'm like, wait, no. I said, Grace, how old is Mom? Because I'm always forgetting how old I am. And I said, wait, it's 2023. So next year is an even number. And then I went, I am 50 next year. And I just lost it. Michelle, my cousin's roaring on the phone.
Or act 50. Like,
oh my gosh.
Like 50.
My cousin's on the phone roaring because she turns 54 Friday. And she's laughing. And I said, how did that happen? How did that happen? I'm 50 next year. I said, didn't I just turn 30? I get to thinking, this is Gracie's last few months of teen. My daughter, she's not a teenage. This is her last few months, and she turns 20 in the fall.
And it's the weirdest feeling when they're not like kids anymore.
I'm like, oh yeah, look at my mother. Haha, yeah, you're 50. I just see them. If you'd waited longer to have me.
All of my friends, no matter if they're much older or much younger than me, like for whatever reason in my brain, they're the same age as me. Everybody's 42. Like that's just how it is.
Dave, and I was saying it to David yesterday because we went to the store before we went to pick up Aiden from track. And I said, I was telling how I was talking to Michelle. I said, do you realize? I said, I don't know how. I didn't realize. I said, but I'm 50 next year. And he looks at me. He goes, oh my gosh, you are. I said, and he starts laughing. I said, it's not funny because I don't know how it happened.
So now we know why the women that are like, I'm 39 or whatever, like for 10 years straight, they're 39. Mm-hmm. Like now I get it. Like, I don't want to say I don't even want to say I'm 42 sometimes. Like, cause that makes me feel oldish, you know? I think I will feel the same way when I turn, but you know what? I hope when I'm 50, I'm still doing all the things that you do right now. Cause that's
I mean, I have to laugh because when you think of, Golden Girls, I love the show. I loved it when I was younger. My grandmothers loved it. It was something we watched together. Gracie watched it with me. Those ladies, some of them were in their 50s when they started. So I know. So what a difference we think of 50 now. Right. Isn't it amazing?
Right. And when you think in your brain, 50 is old, you know, old lady with old lady clothes on and old lady hair.
And that show Hot in Cleveland, did you ever watch that? They were in their 50s and 60. Look at the difference. We looked at 50, 30 years ago to now. It is so different. And 50 is a hard one. It gets easier after that.
62. And she doesn't look 62. She doesn't act 62. So hopefully I get those genetics from her.
Yeah. My mom said, I can remember when you turned 50 because I came home for it. And I can remember very distinctly. I remember when you turned 40 because that was the year I think I got married. Weren't you 40 when I got married, Mom? Because I remember thinking when I turned 40, I said to David, I am now the age my mother was when you and I got married. Like that, how crazy is that? Because we got married young too. Do you feel half a century old? Some days getting out of bed, I feel 100, and other days I get out of bed and I feel 20. So.
I posted this morning even like old age is a weird thing. You're still a young kid, like trapped in this terrible body that's happening.
Yeah. Mom was 40 when I got married. So yeah, it's like I saw a meme today that said, nobody told me that getting old meant rigor mortis starts at 40. And I'm like, yes, because everything hurts. You have to think twice before you go down because coming back up is a whole other thing.
I saw this meme the other day. I had this lady standing on a tailgate. She's like, the difference between a younger person and an older person, standing up here as a younger person is not dangerous. Standing up here at 40 is a very dangerous thing.
It is. Oh my gosh. Oh, I mean, you know, David, I don't think there's nothing. I mean, and I know David is going to need a knee replacement. I know he is because he
will need done too.
He hurt his knee so bad a few years ago, and it's just, I'll see him rubbing his knee a lot, and I'm like, it's bugging you, isn't it? And he's like, yeah, but he's heard horror stories. You know, some of the guys he works with are like, oh my, it's worse than it ever was before. And then I said, yeah, and then I hear other people say it was the best thing they ever did.
Right?
There's no pain anymore. So I said, you know, maybe the guys you're working with are just a bunch of wimps.
That's why I won't get back surgery, because I watched my dad literally cry, and his back still hurts to this day. So I'm like, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, no, I know. So, I mean, I know his father, David's father, he had to have both hips replaced, and he was on the waiting list. He was on the waiting list for so long that one of the ball and joint was completely gone, and he's got one leg that's a 1/4 inch shorter than the rest of it because they couldn't. But I will say, the pain he was in was immense. When he finally got them replaced, it was so much better. So much. But he was on the waiting list for so long, the deterioration got so bad that, yeah, there was no ball left at all.
That's
so
bad.
He has a limp now because of, well, he can't walk now because of his other health problems. But yeah, and that's the thing I told David. I said, I want to be an active 70-year-old.
Same.
Like, I don't want to be, I want to be enjoying life still. And I will say with age, I kind of wish I had the wisdom now at 20 that I do at 48, because I don't care as much about what people think anymore. And I used to care so much.
I could give that to Callie too. She cares so much. Jake and I were just talking about this. Golf pictures are today. And Callie is very picky about what pictures I put up. Not that he's ever in my house. It's just us that see them.
Right.
And we're getting Ashton's golf pictures just to be like, look at that time Ashton had to play golf so he could still play football. But Callie wants nothing to do with the golf pictures. So I wish I could like give her some of that. Like, you really aren't going to care one day. Like,
you're going to regret it when you're older and you say, oh, I don't have pictures of when I did that. Because I will say, a lot of my pictures of my kids when they're smaller, I'm not in them because I hated the way I looked, because I was so overweight. I hated to see me. I hated them. I was also the one taking a lot of the pictures.
Right.
So
that's why I'm not in them, because I'm always the one taking them. Now that we have selfies, I can be like, take a selfie with one of them, but that's like it. And
I had a friend who lost her mom young. And I remember her saying when she was looking for pictures for the memorial, she said, I'm telling you, all my friends now who still have your mom and who still have children, take the pictures with them. Because she said, I'm having a hard time finding pictures of me with my mother for her memorial, because there is just no pictures. And that really got to me when I heard that. And I said, geez, so I've been trying, like, I definitely do take more with, with the kids and stuff. And, and then doing YouTube, like, hello, all this is out there.
They're always like photobombing me in and stuff, because I can save those little snippets or screenshot them or whatever and have them.
I'm 48, Deb. I turned 49 later this year, like almost near the end of the year. So I still have a few more months. But yeah, so that I am trying to take more pictures, because there's very, like, when we were looking through all the baby pictures, there's not a lot of pictures of me with the kids. There's just not, because I'm still not great. I still don't necessarily like my picture being taken, but I kind of suck it up because
look at Ron Weasley. He's always trying to sneak in here. Every time we open the door, he runs in.
No, I'm 50 next year, Deb. I realized it yesterday that next year was 2024, and that meant, well, that's 50 years since 1974. So, I mean, and it's funny because, like, David and I have known each other. David and I met, I was 14 and he was 16.
Oh.
And to think that he's going to be 51 this year, it's crazy to think that. I said to him, I knew you when you had no hair on your chest, and now I know you with gray hair. He didn't like that.
Now he's old.
Oh, and he doesn't think, when I tell him, like, it's silver through his hair, it's not gray, it's silver. You're just saying that to try and make it sound better. I said, honey, it's seriously silver, and I think it's handsome.
I think some people look really nice with gray or silver or something.
Yeah, I think so too.
But I don't think I can do it. I want to look good in gray hair, but I don't think I can.
Like Jamie Lee Curtis, I think she looks fabulous. Fabulous.
One of my friend's dads has had gray hair since we were kids, and he is just so handsome, and he's always had this gray hair. But some people do not look great with gray hair.
Gracie, our team orders out for delivery. Sorry, we've been waiting forever for our team orders. Well, we were getting them pretty quick in the beginning, but now that they've gotten so popular, it's slowing down a bit. But they also use Canada Post, so
right. That's like DHL here. Anything that goes through DHL, like for my makeup, they go through DHL and it always takes so long. So now I just pay for the express shipping so it comes UPS, so I don't even have to mess with it.
Hi, Karen. Thanks for stopping by. And yeah, I mean, I'm so glad that more women are going silver or gray, you know. So I will say I call it glitter. I have little silver glitters throughout my hair.
Pick mine out, and I'm always telling people like, it looks so good. My friend Amanda has all gray hair. I'm like, it looks so pretty, and then I'm like plucking mine out of my head.
Yeah. I think if it comes in slowly, I might be okay. We'll see. I don't know. I have not colored my hair since I had cancer the first time. So that was, 13 years ago. Oh my gosh.
I haven't colored my hair ever.
Oh, really? No, I used to color it a lot. Just colors, reds, blondes.
Rayla does the same thing. She'll be like, I'm bored today. Let's put some
rainbow. Exactly. Yep. Black. I did black a few times. But I haven't because I there are organic colors. So which Gracie used when we colored her hair, but I just stopped doing it. So I haven't had, and I was worried when my hair came back, it was going to be gray, but it didn't. It didn't come back gray. So Mother Nature is not fair. You lose your gravity, so everything sags and bones are shot. My mother, when she was here last summer, she kept saying, she says, getting old sucks.
It is true. I've been helping down at Pizza Ranch, at the restaurant. And the other day I was doing a pizza shift, which is for a young kid. It is not meant for some old people. Ela, she's probably 60. We're looking for a certain container down clear underneath these huge tables, right? And so we're both down. We're both squatted down there, like looking for this container. And both of us are grabbing the table and like hoisting ourselves up to try to get up. So,
and you probably have a couple sounds that come out that you don't mean to. Like,
struggling. We were riding the struggle bus, getting up.
It's like David said, you can't get up and down quietly anymore. Your body makes a sound of pain, and you're going, oh,
yeah. That's what happened. And then we laughed about how old we were.
Yeah. It's my grandmother, God love her. She is, Mom, remind me, Nanny's 94 next month, right? Jeez. And she said to me, she said, getting old is not for sissies.
That is true. It's like maybe the hardest thing you'll do is to get old.
She says, it's not for wimps. She says, that's for sure. And I just love it. Now, she never colors her hair. My other grandmother, who unfortunately we lost 15 years ago, Grammy Tracy, she used to color her hair, and she would color it red, but it wasn't a natural looking red.
So I see lots of those.
And she had the blue eyeshadow.
My grandma's hair was gray, but I think she like enhanced the gray somehow, or maybe made it lighter so it wasn't so like gray. It was more like
you
white.
Buy that. Gracie, something might have just got delivered because something that our door. You can get that gray shampoo that kind of washes out the dullness or something, so it looks nicer. But Mom, no, I wouldn't even allow him to try to do a split because I don't think he'd ever walk again. David used to be able to do splits, with karate and stuff. Oh yeah, he did that now. I don't think he'd ever walk right again.
Or walk at all. He would be broken.
Yep, I think he might. We were talking last night because I was saying how losing weight is hard too when you get to a certain age, and then you throw in all the other things that Mother Nature has done to me and chemo has done to me, and it makes it very, very hard to lose weight. And we were talking, and I seen there was a meme, and it was Homer Simpson caught in a square door thing, and he goes, why am I so voluptuous? And I'm like, that's what I'm going to start calling myself. Instead of saying I'm fat or whatever, I'm going to say I'm voluptuous. And David goes, yeah, he says, I'm voluptuous too. He says, actually, I think it's all yeast because I'm all puffy. Well, I lost it, and I just literally sitting here last night could not breathe. And then he said, I think it's all yeast. He says, I think I'm 98% gluten.
That's hilarious.
I'm like, you gotta stop. Oh my gosh.
I'm not gonna tell him that. He'll be saying that too.
That great big crane, great big blue hair, and beautiful.
I'm about to mute myself so you don't have to hear her.
It was my Amazon order.
Foxy just barks for no reason. She's coming inside, so she's barking. My dad will be on the phone with me like, oh, what's got the dog excited? I'm like, literally nothing.
Nothing. That's Puggy. Though we thought he was barking at, because he'd be looking out back. And of course we go running because there might be something out back that we need to go take care of. And there's nothing. And we're like, okay, bud, you're definitely losing it. Well, no, there's something. A vole has been coming up on our deck and looking into the chicken bucket where we put scraps to take down to the chickens. Yeah. And that's what he's seeing because he saw it yesterday and I saw it too. And I'm like, oh, you're such a good boy. You're not losing it. You were seeing those crazy voles.
Oh, man, Puggy. Good job.
So
do you keep your scraps inside or outside?
Well, when it's really cold, we do bring them inside because they freeze, right? Especially if it's like after supper. By then the chickens are already put away, so they're not going to get it to the next day.
Right.
In the summer, because I'll take them down to them several times a day, like as kind of thing. But I have to be careful because Lily will get in the bucket and eat them.
Well, we keep ours up on the counter, but we live by a chicken farm, so we have flies right now, because it was warm one time. And so I have a fly strip hanging by my scrap bowl on my kitchen counter, and I literally hate it. So I have to find another way. I just can't. I can't do it.
It's crazy that already March and you're already having them.
But she brought us spray the first time we called her. See, we have these, and she brought us an extra sprayer. I have this one in the kitchen that hangs, and I also have a fly strip right here from before she brought it.
Right.
And up here is our sprayer, and then I have another one on the other door. And so flies are much better since the sprayers have been in here.
Well, maybe is it the state that checks on her, whatever they call it? Maybe they're finally cracking down on her. So I did want to mention, I'm going to talk about this. I'm going to still go probably live Saturday night too, but I did want to mention Sunday, April 2nd, my collab that I am hosting starts. It's hashtag what does $100 buy. Yep. And I just thought I'd mention all the channels where I got 7 people in here. So obviously myself is starting April 2nd. Tanya has a video April 4th. Remy from Rem's Family Farm goes April 6th, which is also my mom's birthday. Tracy from Hand141, he goes April 10th, which is Aiden's birthday. I hate April. So it's my grandmother's April 5th, my mother April 6th, my son April 10th, my parents' anniversary is the 18th, and my father's birthday is the 21st.
So in April, we have my dad's birthday is the 16th, my brother's birthday is the 19th, my niece's birthday is the 15th, and one of our dogs that we used to have was on the 11th, but she's no longer alive. And then my stepdad, his is on the 29th, all in April.
Okay, so you feel my pain with April.
Yeah.
Darren from Thorhaven Farm, he's April 12th. Mary Lynn from Little Homestead by the Beach is April 18th. Angela for the Inquisitive Farm Wife is the 26th of April. This is all April. I'm just going to stop saying April. Sean from She's in Her Element is the 14th. Kimmy from Waking Up Country is the 24th. Glenn and Annette are April 8th. Well, I guess I missed them. Okay, they're obviously not going to be in order. Ashley from CNC Farms is the 16th. Annie from Back to Basics is the 20th. Angie is from Me and You Acres is the 28th. Tony from the Kettle Kitchen is the 18th. Renee from Pike Creek Farm is the 22nd. Tanya, not Tanya, Tanya from Low Family Adventures is the 30th. And Melissa from Little House in the Woods is the 21st. So I'm really excited for this one because I have quite a mix of Canadian and American. And I really tried hard to pick people from different parts of the Canada, different parts of the States, so we can see just what does $100 in groceries look like where you are. I know for us, it wasn't a lot.
No, I went twice because one time it was to get like the kids' food. And then another time was to get Jake and I's food. So I can show because when you're buying like fresh produce, it's just like, you're not getting anything.
Like we had to go.
Those are a disappointment.
We had to go to, I think I did my video so long ago because I wanted to make sure I had it ready. We had to go to 2 stores and shop sales. And I ended up spending $104 because I told everybody you can do 5 over or 5 under. Like if you can't get 100, it's okay. So I spent $104. And I had to go to 2 stores and shop sales to get that. And we went to the store. So that was a couple weeks ago. We went to the store yesterday, spent $70 and didn't even have a full bag of groceries. And I don't even know what we bought. I'm like, I came home and I said, this cost $68.
Wow.
So
That's crazy.
yeah, ecocentric. That's probably about what we go through alone, just in milk and cheese, because we have our son who drinks a lot of milk. Actually, he hasn't been eating as much cereal as he usually does, believe it or not.
Nice.
So he's trying because he knows he needs fuel for running. So he's trying. So we are, however, going through a ton of bread and peanut butter because he's eating a lot of peanut butter sandwiches.
Yeah, our kids peanut butter sandwiches. Get
And
back.
of course, protein bars and things. I have to make a bunch of Cliff bars actually because we did get the last ones on sale, but man, they've gone up too. So I've got to, and they didn't mind my homemade ones, so I really got to make a bunch more homemade so he has them.
We make
And
Power Bites with like oatmeal, honey, peanut butter, and like flaxseed if you want to add some flaxseed and stuff. And the kids love them. And we used to make them into like ball shapes, and I would freeze them so then they were like hard. Now the kids just literally take a plastic bag, keep it all in a bowl. They get a plastic baggie on their hand and just scoop out a small handful of it in this plastic baggie and eat it with a spoon.
okay.
Looks
So,
terrible.
yeah.
They'll even take it to school and their friends are like,
What are you eating?
what?
Yeah, they're not the most attractive looking things to eat.
Right.
But he is, I mean, he is trying. He really is. He tries, but it's people don't really, he can't control it. And Grace either. It is texture problems with them. It's like he said, if he eats a raw carrot for 5 days, he feels like he has like a razor blade in his throat. It's just so scratchy feeling to him.
The same way. She doesn't have Tourette's, but she has very much OCD and she has ADHD. And sometimes if she eats something, one time it was like taco meat or something, and she must have had a bigger bite than what she was used to, and it scared her, so she didn't eat taco meat for a long time.
Yeah. Gracie doesn't eat.
Completely irrational, but she just couldn't get over it, and it's for a long time.
Hey, Aiden will be 16 next week, and I got very sick on a banana when I was pregnant. I was pregnant with him my whole pregnancy. Right. And I am just now slowly trying to eat banana. I could eat them in a smoothie if they blended up, but just to eat a piece of it, I couldn't do it.
It made you nauseous, like sick?
Yep. And then I would gag, and I just couldn't. But I am starting to slowly get it. But I just, Gracie doesn't eat any beef product. Again, it's the texture thing. Right. It's the look of it. It's the smell of it. And it totally makes sense now that we've got her diagnosis.
Right.
Well, she doesn't eat beef. She eats chicken, turkey, and haddock. She won't eat pork anymore. She stopped eating pork. I think that is more of she loves pigs kind of thing, and it's hard for her to eat the pork.
Mine is for a different reason. I love pork. Like, I love it. And I used to work in hog barns when I was little, when I was a teenager, clear up until I had Jay. And sometimes I can smell the confinement in the meat when I'm cooking it. Sometimes I can smell it in the grocery store. And if I can smell the confinement, I won't eat it.
Yeah.
And I don't think anything you can do about it, like sometimes you smell it, sometimes you don't.
You don't. I will tell you with Grace, when I was pregnant with Grace, raw chicken, I couldn't look at it. I couldn't smell it. And even now I have, oops, is that me or her? I hope that's not me.
There, that was me.
Okay. I can't even now, like I have a hard time, like and it took me 2 years after Grace was born before I could even eat chicken again.
Yep.
So it's funny how that happens, but that's how you fight inflation. You're going to, and there's been many things that I'm like, I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. I will either make it myself or we just won't have it. We're not going to die if we don't have this particular thing. Because I'm just not doing it. Unfortunately, I don't think there's enough people doing that. I think a lot of people are just saying, oh, what are you going to do? Well, don't buy it.
I mean, but how are they paying their bills though?
I don't know.
People don't have 6 kids like we do, but our groceries are very expensive. So if we just said, okay, we're going to buy it, like we would literally have to like cut out a bill somewhere,
I know. We, It is. I mean, and we spend a lot of money on groceries because, again, we have 2 special needs kids with 2 special diets. So there's certain things we have to buy. I do my best to find the best price. And Grace does help pay for her groceries and stuff.
Right.
So, but it's hard. And there are just some things, like I said, we won't buy. We don't eat out. We try our best not to eat out.
Anything fun and extra the kids buy with their own money, or I will buy it for Ricky and Memphis. Like if Rayla or if Callie and Ashton got chicken nuggets with their own money,
yes,
I'll buy Ricky and Memphis a bag of chicken nuggets, which is fine because that's one bag of chicken nuggets.
Yes,
free to everybody,
Yeah, that's like Aiden has his own money, so he does. He goes at lunchtime. He goes to the convenience store, and I know he's buying a grape soda.
Yeah.
But it's his money, and he is almost 16. Like, he has to make these decisions for himself. I'm not gonna, and he is definitely my junk food kid. Like, he says, Mom, it's so hard because it's so delicious. It's just so good. I'm like, I get it.
Literally the same way. They just cannot stop.
Yeah, I get it. And, but even that's getting expensive, Tanya.
It is $8 for a 12-pack of pop here. $8 and some change, like $8.48. That's ridiculous.
Here for a 12-pack, I think it's up to, I think on sale, they'll go on sale for around $5 or $6. And that used to be the regular price, and they'd go on sale for like $3 or $4. We haven't bought it in so long. I honestly couldn't tell you. I can tell you, like, a 2-liter bottle is over $3 here now.
Ours is too. And Ricky always gets the 2-liter bottles because if she gets a 12-pack with her money, her brothers do her litter box in her room, and mysteriously her cans of pop come up
missing.
So if she has a 2-liter, they can't steal it.
I just never thought I'd see the day, even in Canada, that a 2-liter bottle of, ginger ale or Pepsi or whatever you're buying would be over $3.
Right.
Like, I can remember when it was 88 cents, when it would go on sale for 88 cents, and it wasn't that long ago. I'm not talking 50 years ago.
And there was like 2 years I didn't go anywhere. Jake did all the things because I was terrified that the virus was going to kill me, right?
Right.
So then when I finally start going to the store and I see the prices of especially like the pop, and now I understand why Jake is so mad when the kids drink it all in 2 days.
Oh,
and
I totally get why my mother and father would get so mad when they would bring home Twinkies or something, and they'd be gone in 2 days, and they'd be like none left for the rest of the week. Because that's the only time my mother didn't go back out 3 days later and buy another box.
Right. And we didn't get snacky stuff when we were poor, but we always had milk. And so our thing was milk. Jimmy and I would just blast through that milk, and our dad would be so mad. Like, why did you drink all this milk already? Like, what do you mean milk,
Yeah. Now, we have a rule in this house. If it's down to 1, if there's 1 left of something, you ask everybody first if anyone wants it before you eat that last one. Because there's nothing worse than going into the refrigerator, planning all day. Oh, I know I'm going to have for my lunch. I'm going to have, that leftover whatever I had last night, and it's gone.
Or
David does that
2
to
pounds
me.
of hamburger. I'll put 2 pounds of hamburger in the fridge the day before to thaw so that I can make supper the next day. And my son will get home late, my oldest son, and then my oldest daughter and her boyfriend. I'll wake up to there's a skillet on the stove, there's buns out on the counter, and I only have half a pound of hamburger left. Like, I didn't put this out for you. This was for tomorrow. Like, don't eat this.
Gracie knows, because her and I, we always fight over those Heavenly Hunk cookies. Her and I love them. And I don't get them often because they're expensive. And I have got the copycat, video, and I do need to make more of them. Right. But she knows when there's 1 left, she better leave it. Because she's probably already ate 95% of them.
That's so...
There's nothing worse, man. You go to get that, and I'm thinking, oh, I know what I'm going to have with my tea for my treat today. I'm going to have one of my Heavenly Hunks with my tea this afternoon, and there's no Heavenly Hunks left. Yeah.
I can't eat my cheese. I eat the cheese like for a snack all through the day.
Me too. Yeah.
And they'll eat it. It'll be gone.
Yeah. Gracie she tries her best to be dairy free, but God love her, she gets her love of cheese from her mother.
Same. I could eat cheese. Ricky and I will buy a thing of feta cheese. It's like big like this. And I will start eating it in the grocery store before I even go to the checkout. And by the end of the day, it's gone. Ricky and I have eaten all of it.
And I mean, Grace tries not to eat it every day if she can help it because it does flare up her eczema and stuff.
I know.
But
it's
she,
story, but it's so good.
And she does. I mean, she does so well. Like she does dairy-free milk. She does. What the heck is that? Okay, I think it's just the. It looks weird. She does dairy-free milk. She does dairy-free yogurt. So the only cow dairy, like the only dairy she's getting, is in the cheese sticks. So she's not getting, as much as she. We actually cured her asthma by taking her off of dairy.
I know. I always feel better, like my joints and stuff, when I'm not eating dairy.
Yeah,
so that's legit. Like it's not just some.
I'm trying to make better choices, so I go for like a cheese stick or two and one of my nitrate-free pepperoni sticks.
Right.
So I have that for a snack instead of eating a cookie or whatever. So and that stuff is, oh my Lord, the cheese sticks were on sale yesterday, so I picked up another package.
Cheese sticks are expensive, like so expensive.
Yep. And I mean, our dairy here went up. We had another hike in February. So all of our dairy's gone up again. And man, I'm glad we don't drink because April 1st, all of our liquor here is going up 6.8%.
I cannot even imagine how much alcohol costs.
And it's so expensive here already, Tanya, because we are unionized here.
Right.
You can't just buy liquor, like go into a grocery store. Well, I shouldn't say that. Our grocery stores here in Ontario, you can buy wine and local beers,
right,
kind of thing. But like hard liquor, you can't get. You can't just go to a convenience store. Now, some of our convenience stores what we have. Ours are called LCBOs, which is the liquor thing, and it's all unionized. And that's one of the reasons. Like, only reason I buy booze is to make my vanilla. I buy a bottle of rum and I buy vodka.
That's it. White wine for cooking, and that's all the alcohol I have here. So
the bottle of vodka I bought was a Mickey. I'm not sure how much that is. It's not like a 40 ouncer. It's maybe 16 ounces. That's like $25 here before the increase. Goodness. So I told David, I said, on your way home tonight, pick me up another big bottle of vodka before the price goes up Saturday, because I'm going to be making some tinctures and some more vanilla.
I need vodka for tinctures too, and for this lemon cleaner that I'm making.
Yeah, so I need a big bottle of it. So a big bottle is probably around 40. So you say 6.8%. It's going up Saturday. I mean, that's a lot. That's a big. They said it's the highest increase on liquor in our country in like 40 years.
I wonder why. Like why? I know
because they need to make money. Our government needs money so bad. So one of the easiest ways is to hike the price of the liquor.
I feel like if we would stop spending so much money, maybe on other countries, we wouldn't need more money.
Like, we got starving people in these countries. We got starving people here in Canada.
We have starving people in Winterset. In this town.
we do too. Our unhoused, because we're not allowed to say homeless anymore. I don't know why it was so derogatory. I say that not being sarcastic. I say that, and I'm not being sarcastic or a jerk. I just don't know the difference between unhoused and homeless. I don't know what the difference is.
It just sounds nicer is all.
The unhoused in our area has grown. I think they said something like 35% in the last 2 years. Part of our problem is a lot of the bigger cities literally give the unhoused bus tickets to come here.
Why? For what? What do they need to
get them out of their city? So they're not their problem anymore. It's despicable. It's despicable.
You can't tell if that's really smart or really terrible.
And when you like one lady, they were talking to her here. She lives in Belleville. She has a full-time job. She goes, I work over 40 hours a week, she said, and I'm homeless. She goes, I'm living in my car. She said, I go to the YMCA to get clean. She said, I have to eat a lot of takeout because where can I cook my meals?
Right.
She said, I do get a hotel a couple times a week just to help have a bed to sleep in. And she said, I'm working a full-time job, but she can't afford rent because a one-bedroom apartment here is going for like $1,800 to $2,000.
I know. Raylan and Chase have these two friends, Tristan and Corbin, and they both work really good jobs. They make really good money, and they don't have a place right now. They're literally staying in hotels. And so we have been like taking them some groceries here and there and some like clothes, because they don't even have a way to go wash their laundry. Like there's not a place there, And it's really ridiculous because they make enough money, they should be able to easily support themselves. And they can't even like get into an apartment because it's so expensive.
So, I mean, it's just, so right now, if you work a full-time job at minimum wage here, before taxes, that's $2,480 a month. Rent is costing anywhere from, let's say you get a bachelor apartment for, let's say you get it for $1,500.
Right.
That leaves you $500 to try to buy food, gas for your vehicle, insurance for your vehicle. That's before you even have a cell phone or internet or cable or any of that. It's you know, so I mean, I know that is part of it, part of the problem. I mean, it's just the rent. And I'm not saying the landlords are greedy, because part of the problem is when the landlords finally get into their apartments, the damage, because we had a friend who had a home that he rented, and they stopped paying rent for 8 months. It took them another 6 months to get them out.
Right, because you have
When
to
finally
do things, you know.
And like the court said, well, you can sue them for all that back rent. He said they don't have 2 pots to pee in.
They don't ever have to pay it either, because I mean, if they don't have the money, they can't pay it.
So when he finally got in, they ripped out all the copper wire from his bathroom. They removed.
There's not enough copper wire in there to amount to anything.
They removed the toilet. He doesn't know why they took the toilet. They took out a wall that was load bearing, cut a hole through it so they could have like an open kitchen, and they never got permission. He walked in, like he had over $15,000 in damages.
No, I would never rent. I just wouldn't ever rent to somebody. I know how my kids like treat my stuff here. I would never trust someone else, you know.
And he told David, he said, I'm telling you right now, do not get into landlordship as a business.
For real.
It's like, he said, what stinks is, he said, I have to pass some of this cost on to the next renters, because he said, like, what am I going to do? You know, so
but if they're just as bad, you know, like you have to cover your butt in order to maintain your property.
So it's not, a lot of people will say, oh, it's greedy landlords. That's not always about greed. The other part is a lot of people in our area in 2020 and 21 paid way too much for their houses.
Right.
Because people were losing their minds, and a house was going up for sale for, the house would be listed for $350,000 and people were buying for $800,000. Oh yeah, it was crazy. And now they're trying to rent them, and they've got an $800,000 mortgage, so they're trying to charge $3,400 a month in rent, and they can't rent it because who can that's more than our mortgage.
Right? And renting is always way more expensive. I keep telling Chase and Raylan, like, you guys need to save your money, get a house payment or a down payment for a house done, because renting is literally, first of all, wasting your money if you can help it. Some people can't just go buy it.
Yeah.
You guys still have good credit, you know, like save up your money while you're here so you have a down payment for a house. Then
that's what we told the kids. Yeah, we told the kids, you know, live with us. We're not going to charge you rent, you know, as long as you're, you know, taking care of your stuff and save your money. Now, they did just pass a thing with our budget yesterday. They've started a new savings account for late teens, early 20s, where they can save $8,000 a year. It's not taxed. Parents can put money into it too. Nice. And they can use that money towards a down payment on a home in a few years.
That's amazing.
So I said, okay, I told both the kids, you're going to open up one of those savings accounts.
Right.
And I told even now at 16, you can be putting a little bit of your money into that account. So when you're 25, you've got money for a down payment for a home.
Right.
You know,
because like I keep telling me, because like you don't want to be 40 and just buying your house like I did, you know, like I was 40.
Well, we were 30, so it was 9 years ago. So I'm, oh my God, more math. 40. I was 36, 37 when we bought our house. So yeah,
like you want to have it done beforehand, and then you have a house that you can even like. Then you can sell that one and get into another one. Like you can just keep it as a cycle of keeping you housed.
Like we are shocked because we never thought we were going to move. We're like, okay, we took a long time to buy our home. This is it.
Right.
But it's never, in the back of my head, I always heard, because it's never felt like home. I mean, it feels like home, but it doesn't.
So I get it though. It's like you don't want to do all these permanent things because you know that you're not going to be enjoying them long term.
Yeah. And I mean, in the long run, it's actually taken a lot of stress off us, because now we know we're not doing a couple of things we were going to do in the next 2 years, because I'm not putting a sunroom on this house just to leave it.
Right. Exactly.
So I want to do, even when we would say, we're going home to visit. Well, no, we're home now. That's not home anymore. But we would still say that. And I'm like, David, that should have been a hint there that we knew we were going to, and we don't want to move. Moving stinks.
Oh, I hate moving. It's literally the worst thing ever.
And we're going to be moving 13 hours away. God willing, if we can, be blessed enough to find a place that we want down east. Right. Which means, like I told David, what we're going to end up doing is, like, if we do find a place, that whole month before the house closes, you and I will have to make trips like every few days, taking stuff down there and then turning right around and coming back.
I watched, I don't watch Roots and Refuge very often, but I did watch them when they got their new place. And like Maya, the husband, would have to like take trips and be gone for days sometimes, while Jess stayed back and dealt with kids and animals and whatever. And it was a big deal to move as far as they did. So it's going to be a lot of work.
Yeah, I will say, Tracy, like David and I got for Christmas a couple years ago, Mom sent us money. And one of the things I bought was Dave Ramsey's Smart Money Saving book. I can't remember the name of it.
That's a legit system. I'm just saying.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm reading it and I'm like light bulbs were going off over my head. And I will say, Dave and I are terrible about budgeting. I mean, I make sure all our bills are paid, but I know there's a lot of income. I know there's a lot of money that we just, Amazon, online shopping is the devil. I'm just going to say.
All of our bills and then have some left over. But we're so bad at like managing it that we don't have like a steady flow of just constant. We're either really up or we're really down. And there has to be a middleman, because that is so stressful.
So I told David, I said, we're taking this time with the full-time contract starting here. We really need to sit down and do a budget and just see how much income after everything's taken care of, every bill, all the food, and even budget, a little bit of money for fun, whatever you want to use that, either it's online shopping or whatever, and just see how much we could be putting into something else.
Right.
Because I know it's a lot.
Businesses, like all of my like makeup and lashes and whatever else I do, right? Like that's all just like extra money, but we are spending it on like extra stuff. We're not putting it into something like legit. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I do have a savings. I do put some in savings, but we've had some expensive over the last few months. So unfortunately we've used credit again. And I told David, I said, we want our credit completely paid off again, because we were completely debt free 2 years ago. And we don't owe anything on our cars anymore. Our cars are free.
That's awesome.
That's been for about a year. And I said, so we really need, we've got our bank has a couple of different savings accounts that we can have and call them different things. I've got one for vacation. I got one just for long-term savings. And I want to have one for like car repairs and house repairs.
That's always the worst one. Like we will buy something big that we've been saving for even, and then something happens to a vehicle
every time.
We don't have money to fix it.
Yep. Every time.
Mm-hmm.
So we think we got to put a little bit of money into the septic system, which is not something we saw coming. So
we also need to do that, because we have not had any problems with this septic system yet, but I know that it's going to happen at some point.
I think part of the problem is the septic is, I think, too small for a family of 4. I think it was built for a family of 2 who lived here before.
Right.
And if that means we have to have it emptied yearly, we're okay with that, because even $300 a year in town, they're spending $300 a month on a sewer bill.
Wait, are they supposed to be emptied?
They're supposed to be. Different companies will tell you different things, but it seems to be either every 2 or 3 years they should be being emptied. So
we've never had ours emptied, and we've been here 3 years.
Wow.
Maybe that's bad though. Like, what happens if you don't empty it?
Well,
If
I mean,
your
I've heard people who say, well, we've had ours 20 years and we've never emptied it. So I don't know. I
feel like I want to empty it. Like, I feel like we should maybe.
I talked to we trust the septic guys that we deal with. They're a really good company. They're a local bit, like they literally are our neighbors. Some of them live like right. And they're wonderful people. And he said, personally, he said, I would not go more than 3 years. He said, I know you're going to hear people who say, oh, we've had it 20 years and never emptied. He said, you want a healthy system.
Right.
So he
said, like, it sounds like a good idea to do that so you don't run into problems.
Yeah. And I mean, and if he wanted to, my feeling is if he wanted to make money, he would say, oh, you need to have this done every 6 months or once a year. He said you could go as long as 3 years. So I trust him. Like, I don't.
If he wanted to make money, like, what's the end result if we don't do it? It backs up into our yards because I cannot.
Or in our case, it would back up into our basement.
Mm-hmm.
And take out our furnace or hot water tank.
And it goes like clear underneath, like almost to our garden. Like our whole yard would be a big, terrible mess.
Yeah, it goes back into our hot water tank, our furnace, our well, our sump pump. Like that's where it would all go into ours. So, so we did have it done last July. We're going to go ahead and have it done again next month in May, because if you wait to May, it's cheaper because they charge you winter rates because the ground's frozen and all that or whatever. Right. So, and because I said to David, I just don't think it's, because we saw it when we dug it up. It's not very big. I said, David, I don't think it's designed for a family of 4. I just don't think it is. So I said, I don't think we can go 2 to 3 years with 4 people living. And you got 2 people who are home all day. And we're girls. And so we can use toilet paper no matter what we do. So, you know, so I mean, it makes sense that we're thinking that we're hoping that's all it is. It just needs to be, you know, because it was fine until just a couple weeks ago, and we are having some bubbling, and all of our research is saying it's full again. It needs to be. Well, so
ours bubbles too. Like I'm totally to it. I cannot have a septic problem. I will literally lose my whole mind.
Yeah. And I mean, and a couple of times the toilets have been, you know, gurgling, and our research says, hey, you need to empty. So we're going to get it. Luckily, May is just, you know, not too far away. So, and I do put down, they're called green gobblers, that you get them off Amazon.
Like natural.
It's a natural, it's full of good bacteria, and they go in, this is disgusting, but they eat all the waste and everything. So you put
our dog waste things, but maybe we need to use them too. And we can't like dump the mop bucket down the drains or anything with chemicals, like nothing.
Ecocentric is saying here, the septic tank will eventually fill up, then the water will back up to the next let. Yeah. So these people who are like, oh, it's been 20 years, either that or they've got gigantic septic systems. But even a gigantic one would need to be emptied after so long.
Do you think a septic tank would attract flies from the chicken farm?
I mean, if it's bubbling up, probably, yes. But
I don't see it or smell it or anything outside, but I mean, maybe flies can?
Maybe. I mean, it's possible. I think it depends on how deep.
Do you think that flies can get in there and like breed and get out?
I don't think so, because I mean, when David, because we have to actually dig up the spot. That's part of they make you dig it up. So, and then they come and pick up the big lid. I've never seen anything.
2 stacks, like 2 like little plastic chimney stacks.
Okay.
And then I'll show you. I can show you from my window. And
ours is probably, our house is 30 years old, so it's a 30-year-old septic system. So
let me see if I can turn you. I probably can't turn you around.
I actually can't be here or be in this side of the house where the septic is when they come, because I literally want to vomit.
Right? Can you see out here?
Yeah.
There's 2 little chimney things, and then out there's 2 green lids.
Okay.
That's our septic right there.
Wow, you got a huge septic tank.
Oh, that makes me feel better then, because I really was thinking like.
I mean, it looks like it's like ours. Like our 2 lids are right here. They're like one here, one here.
Oh.
They're that close together, and it's maybe. I mean, if a person wanted to get in it and go like lay down, like you could lay down in it. It's that long, but I mean, well, if you want to do, but I can't be here because the sounds when they're sucking it out and everything. I literally just.
I wouldn't want to be anywhere near it at all.
And I don't think they get paid enough, because like David said, he goes, I don't care if it costs us $300. They deserve every dollar.
I will pay for it. Like, as long as I don't ever have to deal with it, I will pay for them to come do it.
Yeah, no, and they're nice. That we usually have the same two guys that come, and they'll say, "Hey, Lynn," I'm like, "Hi, how you doing?" And very nice people. And one of the guys, his oldest has autism, and like at the time with Aiden with Tourette's, and we talk about it, and very nice people. So, like I said, I trust them,
right?
You know, and he says, he goes, I would never go more than 3 years. He said, and that also depends on the size of your tank. So.
I hope this isn't the trash guy and not the propane guy.
So at the very least, you're probably due this year for it, Tanya.
I'm doing it because I am not going to have that. Especially, what if it went bad in the wintertime? Then what?
Yep, exactly.
There's a big truck pulling up here.
Killer dogs.
Oh, why would the neighbor guy even need propane? He's never even here. It's the neighbor guy getting propane.
Oh. How the puppies doing?
Oh, they're doing awesome. They're eating regular food. Well, puppy soft food.
Right.
And I feed them twice a day. Yesterday, I ran out of the canned food and did not want to make a special trip into town. So I just softened up the regular dog food for them with some bitch's milk and some diluted bitch's milk. And they gobbled that down so fast. Man, they're just so big.
Let me see. Are you near your seedlings?
Yeah.
I want to see how you're doing.
The red lights make it hard to see them.
Yeah, I know.
Foxy, you don't have to bark at everything. I don't know if you can see. Here I have some Love Lies Bleeding. I have Italian basil, wild lettuce. Can you see? I can't tell.
Yeah, I can.
White yarrow, some peas that I'm going to put out in the cold frames. What else? I have potato seeds happening right here. These are potato seeds, so I'm trying to grow them from seed.
Cool.
Here I've got some cabbages that I need to split up, but they are very stout and strong, so I'm impressed with them. Here's my elderberry right here. This is a cauliflower. Look at this little dumb thing. Just one little cauliflower. Back here we have black-eyed Susans. Echinacea is peeking up right here. These are fun. These are my chamomile that I'm super excited about.
Yay. I know. I got to start all mine this weekend.
Look at this. It looks like something ate the tops off of my tomatoes, like a cat.
Uh-oh.
Because they used to have these little leaves on them.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh is right. 0. 0. Are you eating my tomatoes? I bet she is. Probably because we shut her in the dresser. Did you see that post that I made?
No.
I'm sitting in my room. Jake leaves at 4 a.m, right? This is 8 o'clock. I hear meowing, really quiet meowing, so I'm thinking it's a cat outside my window. So I just kind of ignore it for a minute. Keeps meowing. So I'm looking for this cat. Under my bed, no cat. Look outside, no cat. I keep hearing meowing, and then I'm hearing scratching. She's in my dresser drawer. Shut.
Oh, no way. So she's mad so she ate your tomatoes.
Right? So I would be eating my tomatoes too if he shut me in the drawer for 4 hours. So Jake shut the drawer this morning before he went to work, and she had been in there that whole time.
Oh.
For 0.
Tracy, I'll have to ask David because I don't think ours is 1,000 gallons. I mean, I'm terrible about judging that stuff. I don't know, but
how much ours is.
I'll have to ask him, but I don't think so. If ours is half that, it would make sense. We'd have to have ours done every 2 to 3 because that would be half of what you're getting yours at 5 to 7.
The guy who sold us this house, because he does he sells houses. That's what he does. He's not a big realtor guy. He's just kind of a small realtor guy. So he had our chimneys done and he had a new roof put on. I wonder if he maybe had the septic tank.
Ours, before we bought it, we had to put it, we said septic tank to be emptied by the people who were here before, and they had to show us a receipt and proof that they had it emptied before we moved in. We are going to go to the town. David has off Friday. We're going to go down to the city and see if they've got, because they should still have the blueprints on file of where, because we don't even 100% know where our field is. We have an idea where it might be.
We know where ours is, but we had to ask because when we moved here, there was a bunch of so much stuff, metal, trash, like all kinds of stuff. And so we wanted to make a hole and like burn a lot of this stuff.
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
we can't just dig anywhere we want to.
Right. Yeah.
So we had to find where this leach field or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That's why we also can't have an underground pool, because
Right.
there's nowhere to put it.
The people I used to do daycare for, they live just down the road from us. They bought a house with a above ground pool, and they were in the house maybe 6 months, and the septic started failing. They put that, the people before put it right on the septic field, and it over time it caved in.
No.
And they had pipes like broke, everything. It was a mess. They had to have the whole pool dismantled and taken away, and then they had to have the whole new pipes put through.
I wonder why we can't have like city plumbing. We have city water. Like, we're not far enough out that we have rural water. We have city water.
Well, in Florida, where my parents lived for years, it was septic. You were on septic, you were on septic, you were on septic. And then, because my aunt and uncle have lived there for years, I think Aunt Miriam said 20 years ago, they put in town sewer, and they gave people, and what they did was you paid for 10 years for town sewer, then you don't have to pay anymore. Once it was all paid for, so they don't have a sewer bill, because they wanted people to give up their septic. And they said, look, you just have to pay for the sewer to your house for 10 years. Once that 10 years is done, you no longer have to pay it. And with Aunt Miriam and them, if they sell it, the people don't have to pay. Like, it's all paid for.
I mean, I think it's worth it, especially with like the problems you could have, and then you have to pay for the septic stuff to be
To me, it's just, like I said, here in Trenton, the sewer bills are like $300 a month.
Whoa, ours were never like that in town. Our sewer was really cheap.
And I'm like, that's just a bill that I don't want, and we couldn't afford. I mean, the places we're looking at down east still have septic, but my main thing is I want a well. I don't want town water. I want a well.
Right?
So,
we have a cistern. What's that called?
Okay, cistern. Yeah.
We have one of those. But we don't know if that chunk that it's sitting on is actually our property, because it's butt up against our barn, or if it's the neighbor's property, and it isn't working right now. So there's also a water spigot out at our barn that doesn't work. So we don't know if the water spigot is connected to the neighbor's place. It's just a really weird layout that our property is, that we really just have to have somebody figure it out, because
I mean,
if
our
that's
property
ours,
line is so weird. Our property actually goes behind the neighbors next door. That's actually our property behind their house a ways. That's actually ours.
Right.
And then it goes down. It's a weird shape.
So
and
like
he's been throwing a lot of stuff. And I mean, now part of it is his. I don't know if he's going further. Like, they do own some of it. But like I said to David, I said, it's such a waste, because we're never going to do anything with that, because it's all grown in. I'd almost like to see if he'd want to buy it from us.
We've asked to buy this part of this property. So, like, you know where the pig pen was, that the siding blew off of it?
Yep.
A cement floor slab underneath it. That cement floor slab goes about 10 more feet under the fence over into the neighbor's property. Like, why would they have made this cement slab that big and on one property and half of it on another? You know, to me,
is weird.
That tells me that's my property.
That would tell me that's yours too. At the very least, it used to be.
Right, and that's where that cistern or cistrine is right there, because that's the little corner that connects the butt end of the shed and the butt end of the barn together. That's where those two things are. So if that's our chunk of property, like, I want to use it, you know?
Yeah. No, I don't. I mean, we were going to spend a lot of money and clear a lot of our land and all that, and we're not going to do that anymore.
Right.
We're just not going to.
There, you would want to know. And I guess it costs like lots of money to have someone come out. Like, there's these markers in the ground. They can find these markers.
Our neighbors had to do it, because the people they're next to they're actually put their house up for sale. So hopefully, because I'm lucky we're not as close, but we still have issues.
Right.
But at least there's some space between us.
Right.
They had to get markers because they had it done before, and they took them all out, and that's actually illegal. You cannot remove them.
Where markers are, they're like
so, Chris and Kelly, our neighbors, it cost them $1,800, I think it was, to have them come out and survey. And she said they have to do it because they put their house up for sale, and in the ad, they're showing property that's my neighbors Chris and Kelly's property.
Right.
And I showed her the ad, and she had to call the realtor and say, "You can't be selling that house with that property. That's our property."
Right. I'm almost positive this little chunk of strip of land is ours, especially because our barn doors, our back barn doors, lead to.
You should go to the. You should be able to go to the city and get. They should already. You shouldn't have to pay. They should already have something on file.
They do, and it shows it in this weird puzzle piece shape that it is right now. And I don't think that's accurate. I think that some craziness happened. I don't know. It just, why would you divide a property up like that? Like, you get this little tiny space right here, but then this over here is ours. Like, it just doesn't make any sense.
You might have to at some point take a little bit of money and maybe have to do it just so you know, for peace of mind and because
they're not using any of that. They're not using the cement slab. They're not using the water cistern that's right next to the barn. Like, they're not using any of that.
Yeah. I told Dan, I said, especially if we know we're not going to stay, I said, we should definitely go get, I mean, I know we still have a copy from when we bought the house. I just got to go through all our paperwork, and it would give him this whole, and he drives dirt bikes and four-wheelers. So he might like to have that back there cleared out on his own dime. We might be able to get some money for that and clear that. And he could have that. And then it would literally be all the back of his, which makes more sense. That would all be his back there, you know, and then we would have all this. So we wouldn't have this weird,
like, ours literally looks like a puzzle piece. It's like straight down, this way, this way. Like, it's like, what happened to ours? This is my property line, not my property zigzag.
Yeah. I mean, I told David, I said, my gosh, I said, one of the moves is just going to be me taking clippings of all of our elderberry bushes. And I said, the thought, I mean, to leave, part of me is like, oh, we finally just harvested a bunch of elderberries last year. It took 3 years.
Like, propagate really easily though. Like,
so
easy.
They were just the sticks that we bought from them. They were already started. Like, we did buy, like, they were already rooted. And it only took 3 years. Last year was only the third year. And look, I had a ton of I still have a bunch in my freezer I haven't touched yet.
This stick that we have is, we went to my friend Nicole's and got elderberries last year. And Jake just took a little snip of a twig off of it. We put it in some water, a little jar of water, and it grew roots over the winter. And now it's rooted in a plant pot. So we'll put it out.
Remy, he's got a couple of that he just did, and they seem to be working so far. Yeah. He just did a video on it, and they seem to be, you know, they say they're easy. So I'm probably gonna take a piece off of each one, so I'll have 4 I have here. So I hope I'm hoping whoever buys this, if you're gonna live out in the country, you're probably someone who gardens anyway. I'm thinking.
Like, what else do you want to live out in the country for?
I'm hoping they're going to be like, oh, there's already apple trees. There's already elderberry bushes. There's already blueberries. Like, I'm hoping.
I wish I saw that stuff when we moved in here.
I will say a couple of properties, because David's killing me, because he sends me these links look at this place. I'm like, will you stop doing this? We can't move until Aiden's done high school, and you're killing me. And there was one place, it had a stream. It had a pond. It had 2 barns. It had a separate in-law suite attached to the house, plus a little cottage that had its own plumbing, its own electrical, its own meter. And I'm like,
I would be like, Aiden, buddy.
I know. Are you sure you don't want to finish school online? And it had apple trees already established. It had garden boxes already that she's been using. It had fencing.
Lynn, you need to buy that house.
Oh, and I like literally was in tears because the price was very good.
I mean, buy that house.
What we would make off of this house, if we get what we want, what we would make, we could have bought that place and not had a mortgage.
Right.
That would be like the big dream. And I'm just like, I was in tears. I said to David, I said, why did you do this to me? We can't do this. I said, you think it will stay for sale for 2 years?
Oh, wait. People already live in that house. It's theirs forever.
Oh, it had 10 acres too, which is just perfect. Not too many, not too little.
And you can like get a golf cart and ride around with your dogs when you're old, and it'll be so great.
And they had a drone picture from it. And there was nobody on either. Like, it was like on a dirt road.
Yep.
Like, that's what I want. It said the only drawback is it's about a 45-minute drive to town. That's not a drawback to me. That's what I want.
It's a drawback to me but I'll just make Jake go to town. You know, like I don't have to go to town. I'll send Jake.
Yeah, no, to me, because the kids will be like, we're not thinking we have to do any running around. So I don't mind I want to be more rural. I don't want neighbors.
If I didn't have to have, because we are constantly going to events and sports. Yeah. And I was worried when the kids were little that we would have to go to the emergency room because, I mean, they get hurt sometimes. And so I was worried about how long it would take to get to town if there was an emergency. But now that they're older, that's not as much of a concern. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, and that's why another reason, like, because Aiden already thinks we live too far out of town already. And we're like 8 minutes from Walmart. Right? he has a 20-minute drive to school on the bus. Right. 25 minutes. It's a lot shorter now with this new route than he had before. But he's like, it's too far. So that's another reason we wouldn't do it till he was all graduated and done school. But I find the older I get, the more quiet I want.
Lynn, that's no BS. Like, I hate the sound of this stupid highway. Oh. I don't want to move. I really don't.
I don't either.
But it's so loud.
So noisy, Tanya, here. And it's gotten so bad in the last 2 years. It's only going to get worse.
So much.
Because we have so much land up for sale past us. And like David said, he goes, a subdivision's going to buy that. And that's going to be like 50 more cars.
Subdivision coming out here easily because we have the chicken farm right here. Lots of people live right here. And lots of people commute here to go to work. Like if they had like a subdivision out here, it would be a perfect spot for it too, right here on the highway. Yep. But it's
our area here in Trenton it even says in ads, most sought after area in Quinty West. And I'm like, please stop putting that in the ads. So we have we're the emergency detour route for the 401 highway. Oh, so and there's accidents all the time. So when we always know when there's an accident because all of a sudden there's a gazillion tractor trailers going down our road.
Right. And we're the route for like Ragbri or any other like marathon, triathlon, whatever. Yeah. We have tractor, well, they're not parades. They like go from town to town. I mean, I guess whatever they are, tractor, whatever. Like it is busy here all the
time. I don't even sit on my front porch as much anymore because it's so noisy. Like my mother, like we timed it when she was here last year. I don't even think 3 seconds went by before another car would go. Right. And when I'm outside videoing, it's so noisy.
Or even when I'm not videoing because I know I'm not going to be able to because it's going to be too loud. Then I want to listen to someone else's video and I can't do that because I can't hear it.
Yeah, that's why we fixed up the back deck last year and got the gazebo because our back deck is going to become more of our area. Yeah. Sunday mornings, Dave and I have our tea Sunday mornings between 7 and 8 is the slowest time. It's very quiet.
There's like almost no traffic.
And then once 9 o'clock hits, forget it. It's so noisy. We're like, that's it. We've had enough. Yeah. And it wasn't that bad we're not near the road. Like we're one of the few houses that we're down in quite a ways.
And it is
like they have to put up special bumpers here for people beside us because they're so close that if a car goes off the road, they're going to hit the house.
I say that all the time. I'm like, if someone went off the road right here, they would literally go into our house. Or like last summer, Raylan and I were out front. We were on the front porch because I used to smoke cigarettes on the front porch. Now I don't smoke cigarettes. But that's what I was doing. I was sitting on the porch. Raylan and I were talking. And we heard this like terrible, screechy, grindy noise coming from the highway. We can't see it because it's all just a blur. And then we hear this boom and see a tire fly up across the highway.
Remember that. Yes, I remember.
If our dumpster was not right there, that tire would have come directly at my house where we were sitting on the porch.
I remember you saying that last year. Like a tire just came flying.
Yeah. It's dangerous. So we don't spend time out there, you know?
Yep. I mean, that's why they put up the guardrails. That's the word I was looking for. They put up guardrails for people because they are so close to the road. So I thank God we're not that close because I couldn't take it. In our bedroom, we face our backyard. The kids face the front. The kids face the front with all.
Yeah, I know, but that's kind of dangerous too because I'm thinking like if somebody goes off the road in the middle of the night, they're gonna hit Callie's room, you know. Like
that's what my mother, the house I lived in, my bedroom in the trailer face the busy road. My room was at the very end of the trailer, and Mom would always worry if anyone hits this, it's Lynn. But exactly it just was never. But we've had so many houses built out here in the last 2 years, and there's land going up for sale. And I said, David, if they put a subdivision there, you're going to figure that's going to be like 50 more cars going back and forth by us. And of course, they're all
their friends and all their family, and who knows what else,
And I used to, and the funny thing is I used to love music. I would clean to music, craft to music. I have found the last few months, I haven't even been listening to my music because I just need the quiet. I think
sometimes I will listen to music to drown out all of the other things. I'll just have it going low on my phone on Spotify. It's usually just like 90s hits or whatever. Yeah. But just so I don't have to hear all the trucks driving by, all the semis, all the ambulance all day long. There's always ambulance driving by here.
I think part of it for me is when the kids were in school and I was home alone, I didn't even have the TV on. Yeah, like it was quiet.
Right now sounds in here all day long, but you go outside and it's like
it's 2020. Somebody's always home.
Right.
And so there's always some noise, or I said to David, it's like a physical thing where I just want quiet. Like I literally can physically taste it, feel it, that I just want
sometimes I'll just tell the kids, like, listen, I am way overstimulated right now. You have to be alone. Like, just let me be for 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And then come back out of it. But you guys have driving me crazy. Yelling and games and barking
and singing.
Yes. Talking, telling me about their days at school, which is great. But when it's all at once, it's not amazing.
Yeah. And I say that because I love you guys and I want it, but I'm like you said, I'm overwhelmed and I'm overstimulated. Yeah. I just need like 20, 30 minutes.
Right.
No noise.
Like my brain needs to stay in one path too. And right now it's going in 20 directions.
Yeah. You physically get exhausted from it.
Yep.
And I've always been noise sensitive anyway. Like I always have been. And I just find the older I'm getting, the more sensitive I'm getting. Yep. Smells and noise. Like I have
smells and noise is true. Ashton did cat boxes last night. Jake usually checks the cat boxes after the boys get done because the girls don't do cat boxes. That's just how we do things here. We don't do trash. We don't do cat boxes. Just the boys don't do.
We don't do garbage and recycling. So.
But anyways, I walk by Ricky's room and I can smell the cat box. Not a yucky smell, but I could smell that it needed new litter or something,
Right.
And so I'm telling Ashton, like, the cat box still smells. I know you just got done with it, but you need to do something. Put fresh litter in it. Do whatever. And he's like, it literally doesn't smell. I'm like, it literally does. I'm
telling you, Ashton and Aiden could be best friends. Because that Aiden's like, Mom, he says, you're always smelling something. He says, I think you're crazy. I'm like, I'm not crazy. There is a smell.
We literally had this argument last night in the hallway. I'm like, I smell it right now. I can smell it right now. He's like, is not smelling.
There's no smell. Oh. There's no smell, Mom. There's no smell. And I'm like, I'm not crazy. I'm not just smelling a stink for no reason. There is a smell.
Yeah, my house smells like cat litter box. Like, it's not like I'm making that up.
I know. I do. I get so frustrated and David would be like, but David is hard of hearing. Like he literally has to wear hearing aids.
Yeah.
And even I have some hearing loss because chemo damaged my hearing. But I'm like, and if it's high pitch, I'm like, I don't know why I'm asking you because I know you're going to tell me. You just look at me like, yeah. But there was a sound last night and I could not find it. Somebody, hold on a second.
Okay. Is that a doorbell? I can't see any like comments or anything. Oh, I brought my laptop over here so I can read comments. I don't even know what's in here. We'll see. We'll see who's here. Our doorbell was nice and cute like that. Ours is like loud and terrible. And then once the dogs hear it, it's not great. The big terrible disaster. Let me pull us up on YouTube. I was watching Shane Dawson last night on YouTube. He's not a homesteader. He's not a country folk. He is from California.
Woohoo! Gracie's passport came. I had to sign for it. That's why she wasn't
there. Doorbell that was literally adorable, like ding ding ding.
Yeah, that's our ring camera.
Oh,
yeah. But I'm like,
a Ring camera, and I
make
never
her tell
I need
Grace.
to.
It has been almost a year since we applied for her passport, her and Aiden's. It has been an absolute nightmare. Absolute nightmare. And Grace just came. Aiden's, they wouldn't take his birth certificate because the one we sent him didn't have David and I's names on it. So I had to buy another birth certificate, a long form that showed David and I's names on it. And we have to now send that off so we can get his passport.
Why? Why is it so crazy? And the kids' dad had a huge problem when he was out in the wind turbines. When he was out doing the wind turbines, like he legitimately got stuck out there.
Yeah.
Something to do with the passport.
Well, it was bad because when they finally lifted traveling and everything, everybody applied for their passports, and they hired a bunch more people, and they said it was going to get better, but I just couldn't figure out. Like, I kept calling them. I'm like, what's going on? Do you need more information? Like, their birth certificates, the original copies too, is all they'll take. They came back months ago.
But like, should it really take that long?
I know. So they came back months ago, and then I called and I said, oh, we haven't been able to get a hold of, because I couldn't talk because Grace is 18, so she had to talk, and I had explained to him, look, Grace can't talk to you, like, right? She physically, so can she just give you permission? So they said, oh yeah. They just said, Grace, do I have your permission? You just need to say yes to have your mom talk to me about your passport. And Grace, finally managed to say yes. So I talked to him. They said, well, we haven't been able to get a hold of the guarantor. I said, she's been trying to call you, but the woman has a life and she can't wait on hold for 4 hours for you guys. Right. So finally they said, well, we're not supposed to do this, but we're going to call her. Why the hell did you want her phone number if you can't?
Right.
Like, it was
why aren't they supposed to do that? Like, if it needs done, it needs done.
So they called her, and after they called her, Rhonda called me, and she said, geez, Lynn, I'm sorry, but I don't know. They asked her what color Grace's eyes were. She said, I said, good grief, I couldn't tell you the colors of my nieces and nephews off the top of my head, let alone, really? So we were worried we were going to get rejected because of it, but I guess it went through because, is that it, Grace? Yay! Now we just got to get it in. So, and then they told me if we didn't get this straightened up, we would have to pay everything all over again and go through all this again. And I'm like, oh no. So I said, okay, so I said, where does it say on the application for Aiden? Because he was under 18. Where does it say you need this kind of birth certificate? Well, it doesn't. Well, how the hell am I supposed to know that's the one you needed? Why does everybody look like a serial killer? Right? So he said, well, I'm going to give you an extension. Go ahead. Because I told him it's going to take us probably at least a month to get his birth certificate from Nova Scotia, because that's how long it took to get the other one. So then I'm out another $40. So I've spent $70 on
somewhere like urgently. Like, what if you needed to go somewhere within the week?
Yep. Oh, and then he asked her too. He goes, well, when do they plan to travel? And Rhonda says, I have no idea. And like I said, we want a passport, so when we want to travel, they're ready. It doesn't mean you have plans to go anywhere right away.
It's long to get one. Like, nobody can make a plan.
And when we applied for it, we did put down we plan to travel in August, but that was last June. We were going to travel. Wow. So anyway, so now we got his birth certificate came last Thursday or Friday, the right one. So we are physically going to an office this time. We're not even going to mail it. And we're going to say, here's the right one. Yeah. Look up his file. Here it is. And hopefully we'll get
everything by mail takes literally so.
Oh my gosh. It has been an absolute nightmare. Oh, hello. Buttercup and Fern. I said, we've been on almost 2 hours. I'm like, I really got to get stuff done.
It has been 2 hours. I can't see where we've been.
It says 1 hour and 58 minutes. I've been on, but I wanted to mention too, one of the savings accounts I've started, I've called it Visit Tanya.
Well, kids and I keep looking at like these packages to go to New York, like during Christmas time.
Yep.
First of all, did you know the to ride a carriage in Times Square in the Christmassy time is literally $1 million?
How much?
It's like $800 for 2 people.
Okay, we won't be doing that.
I know, but then what are we supposed to do? Watch everybody ride the carriage and the horses?
Wow,
$800.
As much as I'd want to do that, I'd rather spend $800 and could get a better hotel right over Macy's Square so we can see the parade.
Right. Well, if you go look at hotel packages, they're not that bad. Like I was looking at spending about $4,000 for airfare for 5 of us, plus our hotel for 3 nights and 2 days, I think is what I got, which isn't bad if we saved for it. And it doesn't require any like money down. You just need your card on file to hold it or whatever.
Yeah.
And only 24 hours ahead to cancel. But there's a lot of really nice hotels that are like within walking distance of Times Square, and like it would be really cool. Something we want to actually do, because the kids don't care what they get for Christmas. They're big kids now. Like throw them $50. Kids, they're like, Christmas, you know.
Yeah, and they're at the age now where we're like, we'd rather do family trips or something than buy more crap.
Things, you know.
Yeah. I know when we were talking about all of us going, because we don't necessarily have to fly because it's not that long of a drive for us. He was saying how there's so many of us, if we could even rent like an Airbnb house.
Yes.
And then we all split it 50-50, and then we can save on food because we won't have to eat out so much because we'll have a full kitchen.
Look at David being the smart one out of us all.
So I said, yeah, I'll mention that to her because he said,
and Airbnbs are really nice. Like even our Airbnbs here are super nice.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Look,
David stayed in one for our anniversary. It was beautiful.
If you got the house with the mother-in-law suite in it, did you know that if like Grace didn't live in it, you could make it like a little Airbnb thing?
I know. We've talked about that too, especially like if we're out on the farm and So he was talking about that because he's like our kids could each share a room. So that's one, you know, and then I was gonna say we could actually have maybe all the girls in one room if there's enough beds or whatever, and then all the boys. So we won't need like 10.
Callie and Ricky and Grace would get along really well because they're all very much like the same. Yeah. Not, you know, like they would all get along really well.
So the most we could get away with, we could get away with a 4-bedroom house.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Airbnbs too. Like we just be dreaming, looking at all these really awesome.
I know. I don't know where we would like to say we can do it this year, but I don't know.
I don't know either, but I definitely want to before like Ricky and Memphis are gone. You know, like
yeah. I'd like it would be cool because. Not this year. Next year would be Aiden graduating. So that would be kind of cool present, you know, last Christmas before he's done high school. So that would give us 2 years to save, this year and the next year.
Yes. The thing I don't want to do, because I've done this before, not vacation like, but like when I would go on trips for Unique, like I would have the money to get there and have the money to like eat, but I didn't have the money to do anything fun. You know?
Exactly. Yeah.
Go do fun things while I'm there. That's the whole point of going, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I would like. I want to have some spending money.
Right.
You know? Because we would like to go out, like even if we all just go out once to dinner to a nice place, you know, that's still going to be ka-ching.
Yeah. It's going to be worth it. Like I think there's like a Hell's Kitchen out there too. Like we'd go eat with Gordon Ramsay.
Yeah. Yes, Mary Lynn, we're still here. We were just saying that I'm wrapping up because I've got a gazillion. I actually got to finish my video that I'm going to put up tomorrow. So, but yeah, no, I mean, the kids want to do it. Aiden really wants to do it. And Gracie, and if we don't see a Broadway show, I don't think Gracie would ever forgive me.
No. Oh no, Callie absolutely want to go. So I want to see.
If the boys don't want to do that, if the boys want to go do something different, they absolutely could.
Yeah.
And then we could go, you know, to the Broadway show or something.
Yeah.
And do that. Or go see the Rockettes. I'd love.
Or we could just even go like window shopping and get little souvenirs and stuff because the boys will be rushing me out of there. Like, let's go do something.
Mine too, because Aiden doesn't like shopping. So.
Right. I don't like shopping either, but I want to shop when I'm in New York.
Me too. So the boys could totally go have a boy day. David and Jake can take all the boys, and you and I can take all the girls, and we can
we will have a nice day, and they will have a wild, crazy, loud day.
Yeah. And I think it would be fun. And it's something we've been trying to do. We actually were going to do it 2020 for Gracie turning 18. Yeah. For her turning 18 and graduating for her, we were going to combine them and it was going to be her gift. And we were going to go to New York and see Wicked on stage. And then the world ended.
The world did end. And what a weird time. Like I never thought we would be sitting here like everything's back to normal and talking about how, because I was one of them that was scared. Like I was literally scared.
like they were marking the anniversary, the 13th of March. I'm like, that's not an anniversary I want to remember or celebrate.
No.
Like,
No.
that's like, no, thank you. That, you know, I just remember March 13th. It was Friday the 13th. It was the first day of March break. And it was just going to be for March break and maybe a week after, just to flatten the curve. I got so sick of hearing that.
Flatten the curve. And then they never went back.
Nope, they never went back to school. And it was a year later, Aiden went back. He went back after March break a year later, physical, because he was not doing well online. He hated it. Absolutely. Grace thrived. Aiden hated it. He did well academically, but he didn't enjoy it. It was awful. No. He was back to school.
I had to try to keep everything quiet. Ugh.
Oh. And our internet was terrible. The school had to provide us internet.
I couldn't imagine me like, my kids cannot attend virtual class today because our Wi-Fi is terrible.
Yeah. But he was back for 2 weeks and it was shut down again.
Oh, ours never. I really thought ours was going to get shut down again after they went back, because once school went back, like the numbers went crazy high again. But
they did here too. They got worse, actually.
I'm so mad that she didn't shut it down again, because like I was terrified that I was going to get sick.
No, they shut it down. They thought it was only going to be. They thought it was only going to be temporary again, and it ended up being the whole rest of the year. That was when Aiden graduated 8th grade and Gracie graduated 12th grade. And the good news, though, is when he went back online, he got to go back online with his actual 8th grade teacher and his actual 8th grade class. Up until then, he'd been with a whole bunch of different kids from different schools. They put them all. So
ours was always with their class. Like, it was always with their class and their teacher.
It was the first time. But when you went back in the fall, if you didn't feel comfortable sending your kids back, they could do online. And I talked to the kids and they said, well, we like to do online for a little bit. And I'm like, okay. And then Aiden came to us after Christmas. He said, Mom, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go back to school. And I'm like, okay. So then it took a little bit to get him back, because he was medically exempt from wearing a mask because of his Tourette's. Right. So we had to get a doctor and all that. But anyway, yeah. So at least when he did go back the second time online, it was with the teacher he knew in his class. And they still had an 8th grade graduation. His teacher said, no, we're going to do something. Even if it's all outside, we all were 6 feet apart. Grace's school, on the other hand, did nothing for the grade 12s. Nothing. I even wrote to them and said, look, we'll even do a drive-through. Like, we'll stay in their car. We'll drive up. You can hand her, like, something. Something.
Even like a virtual something could have been done, you
know? And I'll tell you, I mean, Grace didn't care, because she actually, the thought of going across stage in front of hundreds of people.
I wouldn't want to do it either. I'm with Grace on that. But something like
it was me.
Someone could like look back on and be like, this was our graduation or whatever, you know?
It was me. I had a hard time. And up until that point, I was fine. I didn't, and I just spiraled. I gained all my weight back I'd lost.
You know what? And there are a lot of people that were like that. A lot of my friends had kids graduate that year. And I kept thinking, like, why do they care? Like, why would you care? Because I do not want to do any graduation, anything, you know? And
it was me. It was my expectations. It was,
You want to look back and have some sort of, like, note of this is what happened.
Well, I wanted her to have her grad pictures at the, and you know, and I'll tell you this just to wrap up, we're a military family. So our families miss out on everything.
Right.
You know, I mean, my mom, God love her, she has made a very conscious effort, and my dad has come sometimes too, but traveling is harder for him. But my mom has been here for certain birthdays, and she saw all of her grandchildren born, all 6 of them. Wow. She did her best. But they weren't here. We knew, okay, you're not going to be here for dance recitals. You won't be here for these different Christmas concerts, like everything I had my grandparents at growing up, right? But we know there'll be for grade 12 grad, because you've got years to prepare for it. And then when it happened and they weren't able to, it just, I don't know why, but it hit me. I was surprised how hard it hit me. So that made it even harder. And I really struggled all that summer. Like,
lots of people did. Like, they were big mad, like huge, terrible posts. And I just kept thinking, like, man, they were being ridiculous. Like, why is being so crazy?
Yeah, I was so sad. I mean, just so sad. And like, and we did what we could. We put up decorations and I made a cake and,
Right.
and a photographer we went outside and we did have their pictures done and everything. Thank goodness. And we did what we could, but I like literally was sobbing. I'm like, no grandparents here to congratulate you. No, like
No, that's the opposite of me. I'm like, stay home, just send a card. Thanks. Just send us a card. We don't want you to come here.
So and it was me because the way I grew up and I had all my grandparents at all those things. And for my kids to miss out, I felt terrible and they didn't care.
I didn't have my grandparents at any of my stuff. My grandma was like my favoriteest person in the whole wide world. And she never came to any of my
they were at school concerts. They were at cheers.
My dad was always the one doing those things. Like dad was at all of my events, everything. But like my grandparents, none of them were.
My parents both worked full time, so sometimes it was only my grandparents that could make it.
My dad worked full time. I'll tell you a fun story, and I do this to my kids now. So if you guys ever see pictures of me with really long socks on, these ones, in fact, these really long socks and shorts, these ones that I have on right now. I'll tell you a story. My dad was an over-the-road truck driver, but he was always at all of my stuff. He would drive coast to coast. One time I had this concert. I was in 6th grade. My mom wasn't there for whatever reason. Maybe my brothers were small. And nobody was there. My parents were not there. So I was kind of bummed, like going in this concert, nobody's here. I have goosebumps telling you this story. I hear my dad's Jake brakes from his semi come into the school. He pulls right up to the front doors. Probably you're not supposed to park there at all. Parks his truck because it's like time for the concert to start. And my dad gets out of his truck with his cut off sweatpants and his long socks pulled clear up to his knees with his cowboy boots because he'd been driving for like a long time. And he still came to my concert. And I remember that. So from this point on, I show up to my kids' stuff in these ridiculous outfits because they'll remember me being there.
I mean, David, unfortunately, he did miss, quite a bit being military. He did his best. I'm pretty sure he made every one of Grace's dance recitals she had.
That's awesome.
I'm trying to think. I'm pretty sure. I mean, he's missed birthdays.
All of the things because he's just never here.
But now that he's, he never was able to go to like Aiden's track meets or things like that. But now that he's out of full-time military, he can, so he makes a very hard effort to make sure he goes to them.
Yeah. And it's hard to get to them. Like even me just helping down at Pizza Ranch sometimes, like there might be times I don't get to go see them.
There's some we can't go to because like one of them, Aiden has to go all the way to like Port Hope. And
like, and I can't
and Aiden's okay. He's like, Mom, it's okay. It's not that important of a meet.
Yeah, my kids are all okay with it. But if it were like Callie, so Jake's daughter, she'll tell you that like, I don't want you to come. I don't want you to come watch me sing, whatever. But then, so one night we're like, fine, we're not going because it's like, we don't want to go, we can watch it on YouTube because they stream it on YouTube,
Right.
And he came home in tears because Jake didn't go. So like, what? You don't want us to come, but you do want us to come. Yeah, so now we have to like go to Callie's things.
Yeah, no, I like Aiden. I mean, it's hard because we just found out that one of the big track meets, an important one, is May 5th. May 5th is the day before the conference. We were going to leave after lunch on May 5th, drive, go visit people, do whatever, check into our hotel, go to dinner with everybody. And now we probably won't be there till after dinner Friday night. So because, and I told Aiden, I don't want you to feel bad, hon. It's your track. We'll just have to go later. We're going to go and watch you compete. Cause he's like, Mom, if I don't go, I can't go for the next big one. I'm like, honey, I'm not telling you to miss it. It's just bad timing. It just sucks.
It does.
So we're still going to go to the conference. We just won't be able to go as early on Friday as we'd hoped. And we probably won't be able to go out to dinner with everybody. We'll probably hopefully we'll get there after dinner so we can visit for a little bit.
Sports is a big deal for, like even just with Aiden, there's a lot that goes into that. And so then like we've got several kids in sports and I think people think I may be crazy, but sports takes up a huge chunk of my life. And that's just like getting them back and forth,
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I got to go pick up Aiden today from track practice.
Right.
But for Aiden, sports are especially this kind of sport, he's tried several.
Right.
And a team, like a team sport didn't work for him
Right.
very well because of his
Right.
Tourette's. Running is his sport.
Yeah.
You know, he loves it, and he is on some team things like the relay
Raylan loved it.
team. And
Raylan loved track. I'm like,
yeah,
not my child. I mean, not trying to run on purpose.
no, I don't. And it's so important for him because it helps him keep his ticks in track.
Right.
It helps him keep his emotions like level.
People even go run around like the property on purpose, like running.
Yeah.
Like, what are you
I
doing?
always tell everybody, if you see me running, you better run too, because something.
Right. If I'm running,
is
there's a problem. There is danger, Will Robinson. Like, go away.
Running is hard on your body anyway. It's very hard.
It's hard on my lungs and my heart. Like, I can't do it.
I mean, it is. It's hard on your joints. It's hard on so many things, but it's his, and I'm not going to take that from him. I mean, you know, the kid, you know, it's important to him even more so than just, I feel like than any other kid that has a sport. Like,
Lynn, I probably cannot run. If there's danger, I'm just going to be done. Like, I'll just stay there.
Go ahead.
It's my time.
It's not worth it. Lily's telling me, hey, Mama, you haven't been able to cuddle me for a while.
I kind of did some of my stuff. Like, I probably made everybody dizzy because I did some of my stuff when I was on the phone.
Well,
when
I got a lot of my stuff done this morning. So I even made a sourdough banana bread this morning.
Oh, I thought I had time. Trust me, I was like, I have an hour before I have to get on here.
Yeah, I just decided last minute. I'm like, I'm going to go on. It's a Wednesday. The sun's out. I got a bunch of stuff done already. And it helps my views because I'm going down to just 2 actual videos a week.
I'm just going to start doing some lives because I literally don't want to edit videos all the time. It is exhausting to me.
It helps and they're fun. You know, they're funner when you have somebody to talk back and forth with.
Right. That's true.
Because sometimes when you're by yourself, they're deaf.
I know. Sometimes I'm by myself in like my group on Facebook, just like talking to myself.
Yeah. But I probably will still go live Saturday just to talk about the collab because it starts Sunday. But I probably won't be on long because during the evenings too, I might even do it during the day because I have to hook up the Wi-Fi directly.
Yeah.
To my laptop, so nobody in the house gets internet.
Right.
So that makes it hard because, you know, mom's hogging the internet. So it's not fair to everybody. So
my kids will lose it.
Yeah, but this one was so long. I don't think I even need to go Saturday. I'll probably like literally just come on and do a quick half-hour live and say, you know, just to talk about the collab, and that will be it. And it might be Saturday afternoon. I might not even wait. Depends on what we're doing this Saturday. What's the Saturday? Oh, Saturday's April Fool's Day.
I don't know what we're doing. And my dad's phone is broken, so we might be taking him a new phone. He keeps trying to call me, but like I can't hear him. He can't hear me. I don't know if he dropped it.
We might be doing that because we told Aiden because we didn't know what to get him for his birthday, and he needs a new cell phone. Like, I mean, his is getting to the point where he can't update everything, and like it's. So we told him for his birthday we'll go upgrade his phone. So he's pretty excited. So
good. We'll have a phone type of weekend together.
Yeah. So thanks for coming on, chatting with me. Thanks. I know I lost a few. I'm down to 3 people. I didn't expect to be this one.
Like,
oh my gosh, it's lunchtime. No wonder I'm hungry. So I'll see y'all later and have a great week.
Bye-bye.
Bye.